This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
It's Eric Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. I am the Grease Man, and I've been all over this country. New York, L.A., San Francisco, Atlanta, Jacksonville. I've been up and down D.C. And all that while, I had a buddy who I didn't know I had. Eric Nagel's been following me, listening, learning at the feet of the master, and now he's here with his own podcast that I am thrilled to introduce. It's not a scintillating thing, it's an educational thing. It's not something that'll make you angry, it's something that'll make you think. And that's the most important thing of all. So, if I may, and it is my distinct pleasure to say, ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Eric Nagel. Take it away, my buddy.
Well, thank you, Nino Grease Manelli, the Grease Man, doing the new intro for the program. Hello, everybody. I am Eric Nagel. Joining us, as always, from the frozen tundra of Arizona, there is Jordan.
Hi, everybody.
You're listening to us on the iHeartRadio app. Thank you very much for doing so. If you're listening to us later on in your, whatever your creature comforts and your convenience, on Apple, Spotify, any of those places that you can get stuff on demand, do us a kindness, go over there and leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. If you want to join us live each and every week as we do the show, head over to our live rooms on YouTube and on Twitch, all under It's Eric Nagel, and you can be part of the program. Jordan, my friend, how are you today?
I'm doing good. The weather's getting better. I'm in the midst of spring break with the kids, so just kind of trying to just get through the week. I mean, nothing too crazy happening, so which is, I guess I can't complain. Nice and calm.
I'm seeing people coming into the room there. There's the Waddle Doodle, the Habba-da-gee. We got some bone dries, maybe some snarlings later. I don't know what's going on, but
what a great intro.
It was so cool of him to do that. It really was.
All the way from old Mexico way.
Down, I can't get as low as he does.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Mexico City?
From
AMF.
Mexico City. Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Yeah, very
can't
good,
do
though.
it.
I mean, that was awesome.
Thank you so much. It was very kind of him for doing that. He's living life and enjoying retirement. Been trying to get him to do an interview, been trying to get him to do some other things. Just not really feeling it right now. But I'm on it.
When did he officially retire? Was it
a few years? I think even before the pandemic.
Okay.
I think he said, "Yeah, I think I'm done." He made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Town to town, up and down the dial. Nationally syndicated at one point for many years. He's a legend. He is a legend. So anyway, spring break going on out by you. Have they banned it in Arizona, or are people not going to Arizona for spring break?
No one comes here for spring break. I mean, the weather's nice, but a lot of people, especially from here, maybe they go up north, like to Lake Havasu. It's still kind of colder up north.
Right.
So I'm thinking most people are going to, if they're going to do anything and get out of the state, they're going to either head west to California, or they're going to head over to the Texas, New Mexico area. But nothing too crazy out here.
You've got the beach, you just don't have the ocean. There's no point of anybody being out there.
Right. No, it's just everyone's spring break staggered. So we have some school districts on spring break, like both my kids. Some districts aren't. So they're just, you've got, roving bands of kids just finding stuff to do out in the yards. And I'm happy when it's over.
Oh, good.
Get it out of here.
Good. Well, at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
You saw the ad they're doing for Miami, because spring break's up and going from now till first week of April, depending on their schools, locations, things like that, and also different levels, college, high school, what have you. Miami was tired of being the place where it was just showing up on all kinds of police blotters and crime segments, TMZ, all of those fun places that sometimes you just don't want to show up on because of theft, because of fighting, because of looting, because of destruction of property, a whole plethora of reasons. So this year they finally cracked down and said, we've had enough. I know people want to come down to Florida. Remember back in the 80s when it used to be all about Fort Lauderdale? Why don't you go back up there? Why don't you?
Yeah, or Daytona Beach.
Instead of, we're going to watch this ad that the whatever council in Miami put this out, telling everybody that they're cracking down on spring break, and maybe you don't want to come here. If they were smart, they should have repurposed a lot of those travel and tourism videos,
Right.
and just say, thinking about Miami, why not come to? And then Fort Lauderdale, get a clip from like The Price is Right from the Showcase Showdown when they're showing a vacation, put it in there, and just really talk up Fort Lauderdale. It's like if Fort Lauderdale is the place you want to be for this spring for spring break. But alas, they did not.
It's weird how much they're trying hard not to make people come to this place.
Kool-Aiders in the chat there, right on point. Go to Panama City.
Yeah.
On the Redneck Riviera, where all the white trash goes.
That could be anywhere.
It is.
I said no one was staying in Arizona, Eric.
It was also a major hotspot for WCW when they were still doing their thing. They had many an event in Panama City because it was drunken rednecks, all living life and having a good time. Send them all over there. Very far away. Complete opposite side. It's almost, at that point, it's Alabama's problem.
Right.
Whatever's going on over there. This is the ad that they had down in Miami.
Hey, we need to talk.
This isn't working anymore.
And it's not us. It's you. We just want different things.
Our idea of a good time is relaxing on the beach.
Hitting up a spa or checking out a new restaurant.
You just want to get drunk in public and ignore laws.
Do you even remember what happened last March?
That was our breaking point, so we're breaking up with you.
And don't try to apologize and come crawling back. This isn't safe, so we're done.
And just so you know, we're serious.
This March, you can expect things like curfews, bag checks, and restricted beach access.
DUI checkpoints, $100 parking, and strong police enforcement for drug possession and violence.
Whatever it takes, because it's time to move on.
Maybe we can talk when you're done with your spring break phase, but until then.
Ugh. I want to go just to piss them off now.
Yeah, right? It's like they're talking. It's like, oh, your spring break phase. Your city is known for it was trying to become a financial capital of the world, and that still hasn't happened. They had the Art Basel festival that goes on down there, where it's like high finance and art is supposed to meet together, and not really catching on. I mean, it's still a thing, but it's not really becoming the cultural, mega event that they were hoping for. Yes, Bartholomew, $100 parking. So that's what, a 5% increase. Fair point. And our pal Brody's in the chat there. $100 parking. So only rich assholes allowed. Yeah. The ones that live down there in South Beach already. I'm curious to see the restricted access, the restricted beach access. Do you have to rent and get those little, bracelet things that they put around the arm, the tag like they do at the Jersey Shore and stuff, so you can go down to the beach?
The beach entrances on Ocean Drive will be limited to 5, 10, and 12 streets and will have security checkpoints to ensure prohibited items do not enter the beach. Entrances also close at 6 p.m. Coolers, inflatable devices, and all the litany of things that they're going to allow are there. Amplified music without a city-issued permit will be restricted. As a reminder, alcohol and cigarette smoking are always prohibited on the Miami beaches. So it looks like they're going to limit some of the main popular spots and all the different entrances. So they're going to just put people there checking IDs, because the $100 parking only applies to non-residents.
Yeah.
So if you live in the area, you're not going to be subjected to the flat fee parking.
Obviously not. Yeah.
No, but I'm just like, do they? As much as I don't agree. Yeah, I agree with wanting to restrict, some of the jovial craziness that comes with some of these things, the parties, the looting, the rioting, all that stuff. Are they that much not wanting those tourist dollars coming in? I guarantee you they rake in the money every year, no matter what garbage goes on every time.
Can you imagine going down to the beach, even if you're a resident, right? Going down to the beach and you just see these lines like you're going into a Comic-Con or to a concert and stuff, where they've got the metal detectors, they got the wands, they got the collapsible white tables where you got to put your bag down, they search everything there. you're going to wait on that line before you can even get into the beach. At least half an hour if there's that many people going, because you're going, not 6, 7 in the morning, but anywhere between like 8 and 11 is when everybody starts getting over to the beach.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
No.
I don't have to go to Miami. What am I talking about? Why am I getting upset? Why am I getting annoyed about it? I'm not going there.
Now,
I've been there a few times, and I hated South Beach.
Now it's saying the entrances close at 6. Does that mean they closed off the beach and they get everybody off the beach? Or if you're there before the beach's entrance is closed, can you stay as late as you want? Well,
probably not. They probably have cops on ATVs going up and down with megaphones and stuff like, get your shit and get out of here.
Yeah, so that's logistically just I don't know how they have the infrastructure to handle that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess they got the funding because it pays to pay for that rather than trying to recoup damages and the fight scenes and down there too. They start doing the peel outs with it's a big car show down there.
Mm-hmm.
Miami sucks. Miami, you try to like Miami, it's never good. And that's the area that they're talking about is mostly like South Beach or the beach areas of Miami. It's not like Miami proper where it's big Cuban community down there in Miami, and they don't put up with a lot of the shit that's going on over on the beach side. Yeah, I don't have any desire to make my way back down there anytime soon.
See, I've never been. I've never as I've gotten older, these spots that I've always wanted to go visit. Like I gotta say New York City, Chicago, places like this, like they start to lose their luster for me, where it's like, Giddles would tell us all these stories, but some guy just tried to stab another guy right in front of me and threw up all over the train, and now this and this. And I'm like, you're not selling me on coming to visit. Like, I don't care. I don't want to come there.
Right.
Miami's the same way, where it's like, it sounded cool growing up, but now it's just like, I don't care. I would literally only go to get food. I want a good Cuban sandwich, and that's it. Like, get me out of there.
If it's only
I'm
like
not a club goer.
If it's only like 5 blocks,
right?
Or what is that? What you said? 5 blocks for what they're opening. Imagine if you have a house near there, or an apartment, a condo, even the hotel. If you're at a hotel and they have those pathways near your hotel to the access stuff, reminds me. Do you ever see Summer Rental with John Candy?
John Candy, yeah.
Right. Do you remember the scene where they're just sitting having breakfast and then people just start coming through their backyard?
Coming through, yeah. You can see them walking by and stuff like that, and they're just trying to enjoy their day.
Yeah, this thing here. This is what it's going to... I'm hoping this is what it turns into.
Right. Ooh, what are you having?
Right.
Oh, that's a long forgotten movie.
It's so underrated, but I love this movie so much.
Related to this, John Candy has been gone. He died 30 years ago.
89, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever, 30 years, like 94?
I know.
Oh, he died in 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was filming like that movie with, I think, Richard Lewis out in like Mexico or something.
Yeah, they move all the public access stuff right through the really swanky hotels.
Right.
Giddles and I used to tell a story about when we were down there one time doing Florida SuperCon. We were doing the satellite show live from down there. Mm-hmm. And at one point, they wouldn't let us go to the hotel pool. It was sealed off for a private party. And I said, in the hotel? And they said, no, they rent their pool areas for private events for people that are not even at the hotel. It's not like you're at the hotel and having a private event at the hotel. Right. They're renting their pool areas.
So you, as a paying customer of that hotel, cannot use the amenities that you're paying for.
Or so we thought. We went to the front desk and we're like, what is this shit? We can't use the pool area because of it was rented for a private party? Oh, no. They had to give us some kind of pass to go in, and then they let us in there because we were at the hotel. But, it
just seems kind of weird.
It had like an EDM DJ spinning. So you had that nonsense. They had the open outdoor bars, the lounge seats, the cabanas that you had. They were paying like hundreds, like $500 for the day or something to have the cabana. And that was also the time when Giddle said that there was some Russian mom, seemed like she was trying to like whore out her kid to some kind of rich billionaire.
Oof.
Because the mom came over and started talking to us. We were like in the corner of the pool hanging out and having a drink. And then she came over and talking to us. What do you do? What is this? What's going on here? So we're like, I really don't like talking to people in those scenarios. So I said very little. Giddles was talking to her mostly. And then finally she left, and I had turned around and I said, well, what happened here? And he goes, I think that mom's trying to like pimp out her kid. Oh, what? What are you talking about? Who's her kid? And we're looking at that kid maybe was 14 years old, 15. Did not look over 18.
Nope.
And this mom was trying to like land some kind of, because the parties down there on South Beach were a lot of, I don't even know if they're high profile, but they're certainly rich.
Right.
From the cars and the boats and everything else that they had in the area that we were staying. They were extremely loaded. But I was just like, this culture is just really fucked up down here.
Yeah, I'd go down there to get me a good Cuban sandwich, and then I'd rent one of those cigar boats and then just do Miami Vice lines as I'm cruising around the bay.
Now you're showing your age. Nobody thinks Miami Vice anymore. They think GTA.
No, I'm thinking the
Vice City.
remake.
Nope, they don't even think that either. They're still thinking GTA Vice City.
Oh, no.
Old man Jordan.
Old man Jordan. Yes, yeah, seriously.
So we started the show with a tribute to Eric Carmen, who passed away. Famous musician. Hungry Eyes, if you know, from Dirty Dancing. Also showing your age if you do know that movie or that song. He had another song called Makes Me Lose Control.
Right.
And I forgot about this. I mean, I knew of it growing up, but I forgot about this video. He's at a radio station, right? I'm going to mute that because I don't want to hear all the rest of the stuff here. But he's in a Cleveland radio, or it's supposed to be LA, but the jock there, his name is Kid Leo. He was big in Cleveland. And he worked at Sirius XM for many years. That's where I met him. But part of the video here is Eric in the radio studio with him, and they're like debuting this new song here, this Make Me Lose Control. So it cuts back and forth, and there's scenes in the radio station, typical 80s over the top
based
model.
Off the cars, are you sure they're not in Miami right now? Jeez.
It does. But anyway, so they're in the radio station, and then they're showing, like, Leo's like, he's spinning the vinyl, he's going to drop the needle, because this is how you do it in radio.
DJ stuff.
Yeah, look, he's winding, queuing it up so it's ready to go when you hit the button. I will say this, at least they did it in a real radio station, because every time they shoot something that's supposed to be in a radio station, the room is wrong, the equipment is wrong, the microphones are wrong, the board is, like, everything's wrong usually. Most times when they try to, it's like, oh, we'll just build a radio station. Like, that's a mixer for if you have a band playing downtown at a shitty bar, and they're riding the things up and down like that's how you do radio. Or they forget to hit the levels or the buttons. So when like, oh, we're going to play the song now, and they hit a part of the board that is not anything to do with activating the song. In fact, radio genius Kid Leo here, there's a scene where he hits the button and he goes to play the song. Oh, it's at the very beginning. That's where it was. So, all right here. See this?
Right.
So he's talking up the song, and he's going to play and hit the button to start the record player, right? He did nothing.
I was going to say, no light lit up, nothing happened.
Nothing right here. This whole area are actual buttons and stuff. He hit this dead space, this dead pot here between the buttons. He didn't hit anything.
You really analyzed this video, didn't you?
I have all my life, because they never get radio right. Radio is so disrespected at every turn, and they never get it right. Unless the movie focuses, like talk radio, they had an actual talk radio setup where it made somewhat sense equipment-wise. Even Airheads.
I was just about to say Airheads might be a close one, too.
Yeah. So,
What
anyway.
about your boy Frasier? How did that show hold up in the world of radio?
It was accurate.
It was accurate?
It was accurate. Okay. It was a little weird because Roz was constantly putting carts into a cart machine.
Right.
But she would hit buttons and you'd see the light go on and the machine would move. So whoever was either a writer or set designer or whatever, somebody there on the staff for that show knew radio or worked in radio and made sure it's like, even if it doesn't do anything, just hit this so the light goes on so it looks authentic.
Right.
Frasier is very authentic for what radio is. Now, this is what's weird. So there's a part in here, I don't remember why, but here's Kid Leo throwing darts while sitting at the radio station while the song's playing. There's posters here, right? Of I can't really see who it is, but that looks like a woman too. So 2 women. He's throwing darts at this photo here, right? That's Scott Shannon. Now I couldn't.
Hilarious.
I remember years and years past, Scott told the story about why this happened. I guess Scott was supposed to be in the video and he couldn't do it or something, if I'm remembering correctly. So they took his promotional photo and just put it in there when they got Leo to come in to do it. I also think that Leo worked for the same company Scott did back in the 80s, and Scott was still is way more known and successful than Leo was.
Yeah.
So this might have been a jealousy thing too. I don't know. I'm going to say that because it sounds better that way. But I think Scott was supposed to be in the music video here. So they just made a scene where they're like, oh, well, he didn't do the music video, so we'll just put up his promotional photo and throw darts at it.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Makes no sense. Little bit of radio nonsense there for you.
He had some big hits. Like he did All By Myself, which also was covered by Eric Cartman.
He did Make Me Lose Control, the video we just saw, All By Myself. Hungry Eyes, which we opened the show with.
Yeah, he wrote Almost Paradise, it was performed by other people, but that was for Footloose. So he had a big footprint in 80s movies.
I don't remember Almost Paradise.
Yeah, it was sung by Ann Wilson and Mike Reno, I believe.
Okay.
But it's on the Footloose
he used to be in
a
a rock band called the Raspberries, right?
Right.
Yeah, and they were decent sized. I saw Paul Stanley post a nice little tribute when Eric Carmen passed away, and he said that he loved Eric. Eric was more of a rocker, even though he found success doing these pop ballad kind of things. Mm-hmm. His band, the Raspberries, used to open for Kiss for the longest time. I guess 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
in
they
that
formed
time
like
frame?
in the late 60s, and I think they broke up in like 75. So they had a good run for a good like 6 years just as the band, the Raspberries.
Yeah, he had a career. He had some hits. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff to look back on. Godspeed to Eric Carmen. Speaking of dumb radio things, I was going through my archives time to time. I do. And I found some stuff that doesn't fly today, but used to get played a lot on the radio in the 80s and the 90s for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up this weekend. Right? Isn't it Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday. So I was thinking, like, do we do a St. Patrick's show? And I just said, no, it's not. I'm not a big St. Patrick's fan. Growing up on Long Island, you would think it was New Year's, Christmas, for how big. Every town has a parade going on, which I don't like parades. They all have the local schools walking through, bagpipes, the ambulance exchange, the fire departments.
Yeah, it's Irish Christmas.
Yeah, and they're selling horrible trinkets and vuvuzelas, which are not even Irish, out there.
That was when they had like the South African like Olympics or something.
Yeah, they used it for soccer all the time. You see
right.
the big plastic things. Bart. You remember Bart got drunk. He was going around yelling through it, and somebody shot the beer into there, and he got hammered. And then all the fun went away for kids drinking on St. Patrick's Day. But alas, I was going through some of my stuff, and I found 2 songs that used to get played on the radio. One of them is it's hokey by today's standards. The other one is not even accurate anymore. And they're both making fun of gay people. Because for the longest time, at least in the New York City area, the church did not recognize any gay congregation to attend the church, nonetheless be part of the St. Patrick's Day parade, which is one of the bigger ones coming out of New York City. So I found these songs. I wanted to play them for you, and you tell me what you think. They used to get played on radio a lot, not just in New York, around the country.
Now, are these like popular songs that I would know, or these are just songs that maybe got a lot of airplay?
No, they're not like songs from real bands. You know, like because I was thinking if we didn't do the Eric Carmen thing today, I was thinking of either starting up with like Dropkick Murphys or Buck 09 has the Irish drinking song. If you're familiar with
Buck
that.
09 in forever.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I have Buck 09. Yeah, they all play Shipping Up to Boston, or they play Metallica's cover of Whiskey in a Jarro.
Whiskey in the Jarro.
Which is an old Irish traditional song. Outside of the Metallica version, do you know who the Irish Rovers are?
It sounds familiar.
They do Whiskey in the Jar. They do the Unicorn song. They do a version of Finnegan's Wake, which is one of my favorites. They're pretty much like the go-to band for a lot of Irish, traditional sounding Irish stuff, but more of a modern feel for it. Hey, wait, I think I got some here. We can do Their Whiskey in a Jar. So you know that song.
Yeah.
They also do Finnegan's Wake. This one's great because they got the drums.
See, we don't have like a giant Irish population out here, you know, because of the sunlight. So we don't get a lot of like the parades
and all the Native Americans and Mexicans. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really do Irish music that well.
No.
It's the accent.
If you look, this is a feel-good, fun party song until you understand what the lyrics are.
Oh, yeah, I want to look at that.
Here. Lots of fun. It's about people being sad that Tim Finnegan passed away.
Yeah.
Family dealing with it. His wife, uncontrollable, trying to cope with it.
Sad when it's an upbeat, fun jig like this.
Yeah, but now the food's coming out and the booze is flowing freely, and everyone doesn't want to hear about Finnegan anymore. It's the chance to party, to get drunk.
See, I like a good Irish jig. My daughter used to do Irish step dancing, but when she moved back to Arizona, they didn't really have a lot of studios that were close enough to take her to keep it going.
They're like, what is this witchcraft that she's doing?
She was just moving her feet. I'm like, good for you. And then I said something about Lord of the Dance. She had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, oh.
Thank God. Lord of the Dance sucked. I know it was
remember all those commercials they used
Michael
to do?
Flatley?
Michael Flatley's
the Lord of the Dance. Yeah.
It would be like the Time Life, like where you
this is when you realize it's not a party song.
Yeah.
Listen.
Tim of Orne and
Why did you die? Shut your gossip. Yeah. They're crying, they're mourning, and he's like, shut the fuck up, let's drink and dance.
Let's party. This is a wake, not a funeral. Let's go.
Yeah. Fantastic.
That's cool.
But anyway, yeah, I got to get to the commercial stuff. Do you know the song Molly Malone?
Name sounds familiar.
My grandfather used to sing this song, and apparently his dad did too.
Do you have a lot of Irish in your family?
I have some. Yeah, I'm a mix of German. I'm more German than Irish, but I got a mixed bag going on. And he used to sing this song, and I remember it as a little kid. I had no idea what the song was ever about. I knew it was about a little girl named Molly Malone. The song is about a girl catching some kind of disease and dying of a young age. It's like, why would this be a regular song that would be in the repetition of any kind of Irish playlist?
Yeah,
where bands would perform it.
The reason I recognize the song title is because the Dubliners actually do that song.
Yeah, this is the Dubliners with the Clancy brothers.
Right.
Here, hold on. I don't want to play too much of it because I'm trying not to get us flagged on it. Maybe she died getting high on her own supply. She ate the bad seafood, and then that's really how she passed away. But anyway, the song goes on for a while, and then eventually, and that was the end of Sweet Molly Malone. And you're like, what? The kid dies in the song?
Died of a fever.
So why are they singing? Irish
are a sad people.
They're fun and fucked up at the same time.
Right?
It's weird. My brother looks very Irish. I look very German. And it's like, yeah, I swear we're related.
That's funny. All right, so what are these
Thank you.
can't play songs? I want
You
to hear what these
can.
ones are.
They're just
Well,
one's
probably
outdated and
just can't.
it might not be received well, but it doesn't mean that they're still not enjoyable, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So this song used to be played by every morning zoo or morning show that relied a lot on prep services and production stuff that they didn't make on their own. Would play these songs like Bob and Tom. You familiar with Bob and Tom?
Yeah.
They do a lot of their own original stuff, but they also like this person who made the song would be on Bob and Tom performing it. It wouldn't be like, hey, somebody put out a novelty song and every station just plays it in the morning as a goof. They would have these people on. So I guess they get a pass. They don't really count for all that stuff. But anyway, this song is called God Loves the Irish.
We'll be coming down Fifth Avenue upon St. Patty's Day. A great day for the Irish all across the USA. But begorra, what is this I hear? This crying ballyhoo. There's a bunch of queers again this year who say that Irish too. Oh, God loves the Irish, unless of course you're gay. If you are, you won't be marching upon St. Patty's Day. You can be a bum, a bucket of scum, sure, and that's okay. But you can't be Irish if you're gay.
No, I actually agree that you should be able to play this song now, just for fun.
Yeah, maybe. Bring it back.
Now the order of Hibernians, those eminences grey, have delivered this pronouncement upon the blessed day. Sure, a little bit of heaven fell and nestled in the sea.
Oh, very touching.
But you're going straight to hell for homosexuality.
What?
Oh, God loves the Irish as long as men are men. Except, of course, for leprechauns. We've never been short of them. You can be a bum,
Best line of the song.
Sure, and that's okay. But you can't be Irish if you're gay. No, you can't be Irish if you're gay. Don't even try being Irish if you're gay.
Don't even try, Jordan. That's the message you take from this song. Don't even try being Irish if you're gay.
Don't be, just come on. What are you doing?
The 80s was a wild time.
That was the 80s?
That was the 80s, late 80s in there. Wild time. This next song is more the early 90s. And you may know this person was a comedy act named Red Peters. Red Peters put out a couple of albums, got the attention of Howard Stern, was doing some kind of specialty novelty, almost like in the same vein of Dr. Demento. Was doing a thing on Howard 101 for, I think, the first couple of years when Howard started on satellite. So Red Peters had he had one song that made him really famous. And I can't remember what the damn song is now. But I have his other song. It was he did an Irish song called The Two Gay Irish Men. Radio for you. They don't do that anymore, and I think they should. I think it's been gone long enough where all of morning radio around the country now are just a guy and a girl paired together that are terrible and or just very, very tame.
Right. I
mean,
wouldn't you want to be
Go ahead.
on the radio saying things like, from Red Peters, we have, when I jerk off, I think of you.
Yeah.
You ain't getting shit for Christmas.
That's
Christmas
another
songs.
big one that a lot of radio used to play. That whole it was not
Holy Shit, It's
Holy
Christmas?
Shit, It's Christmas. That's the one.
Yeah, that's so funny.
What is the big one that got a lot of
Two Gay
attention?
Irishman, the spelling song, How's Your Whole
That's it.
Family.
How's your whole family? And it was an old technique. It would be like, how's your dick? How's your dick? And then quotation machine like that. It would.
Yeah, it's just you got to space it out just enough where it sounds dirty, but it wasn't.
Correct. So yeah, he was perfect for radio in the 90s. They're not going to do that anymore, and I think they should. If we get back on a radio station, I don't see that happening. But if we do, on a terrestrial broadcast radio station, we're bringing a lot of this shit back because nobody's doing it anymore. And in quote the lovely Andrew Dice Clay, "Bop, now it's mine because I'm going to go and find all that old shit and bring it back in a big, big way. And it's going to be new to like 3 generations removed since that stuff came out. It's going to be new to everybody. And we'll make $1 billion.
Yeah, because it'll be new.
It'll be brand new.
And we'll put it on TikTok. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, well,
Can't put it on TikTok.
couldn't put it on TikTok anyway because Warner Music Group and the other one, I forgot the other company, took all their
Universal.
songs down. We had to fix our videos, by the way. 2 of them that did really well for us. One was a Taylor Swift video, and others was debuting the Beatles song.
Favorite one.
We had to take those. No, it didn't have to take them down. They took them down for us because they said the music in there is no longer allowed on TikTok.
Well, it wasn't even that they took them down. They just muted it. So they're like, hey, you can replace the song. You can still have the video, but you won't hear anything. You don't hear the music. You don't hear the dialogue. You don't hear us talking. It went quiet.
Luckily, the music that they were flagging is on TikTok. When you can post a video, you can pick a song to play, I guess, like how we just played the song and we were talking over it. You can pick a song to play when people are doing their dance videos or if they're walking around the city, being all about them, and they'll play, Taylor Swift's Feeling 22 or whatever that song is. And that gets taken out. That's not built into the video. So you can go back in there and take the song out, put something else in.
Yeah.
So I just took some other shitty instrumental and turned it off. Like it's there, and it allowed us to put the videos back up.
That's good.
So the Beatles one had the music embedded in there. Plus, I had it as added onto the video. So when I removed it, put it back on there, hey, it passed their censor. So it's up there, and I think they're up like 50,000 views on those videos. So
love those videos.
Fantastic. TikTok itself has been a big hot button topic this week.
It's been a rough week.
With the House. If you're not familiar with the House is a division of Congress here in these United States. The House, almost not pretty close to unanimous that we've seen in a long time, right? Usually both sides don't really vote together on certain things unless it's like a 9/11 level situation.
Right.
You don't usually get that partisan coming together to vote on something like this, and they were pretty damn close. The House voted
352 to 65.
That's
so
yeah, almost everyone's on board.
65 nays. I don't think there was anybody voting in the absence like they tend to do when they don't want to make a decision. But
nope,
yeah,
not at all.
Pretty crazy.
So it passed the first round, which was the House to get it signed into law to ban the TikTok platform. It goes to, I don't know exactly when. It's not as fast as I thought, but I know it's heading to the Senate maybe next week.
It's literally up to Chuck Schumer, who leads the Senate.
Okay.
And it's up to him to bring it. He can say, we don't want to bring it right away. And he can spend
I think he did that. I think he said, well, we're not going to
examine it.
Something along the lines that we're not going to rush it through.
Yeah.
But we will get to it. So I guess it's going to be a little bit before it gets there. We have said this recently on the show. This is terrible to do during a general election year.
The worst timing.
Now, I've seen representatives from both sides saying it's like, look, it can't just be about, because other people, news outlets have asked him, and it goes, is this smart to do during a general election year? You're up for re-election for the House. Your party's up for re-election in the presidential race. Is this really the time to be doing this? And both sides have said it's not about, you can't worry about things when it comes to that, which is bullshit, because that's all they care about is doing things to get reelected. But now all of a sudden it's like, this is bigger than that. This is China taking our data and our information and essentially reprogramming the youth of America by determining what they get to see, all this propaganda stuff. It's no different than Twitter. It's no different than Instagram. It's no different than, and I'm not taking shots.
Your grandparents' Facebook.
Yeah, it's not like I'm taking shots against like the mainstream news on this stuff, but it's no different than the news. We know what channels and what organizations are slanted to which direction. So what you're getting when you go there. And I mean, it may not be to the level that they're claiming that TikTok is at, but the news does it too. So a lot of people aren't happy with this. A lot of young people, I think they said it was like 170 million Americans use TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's not the entire population, but that's more than half.
And a lot of it is skewed for the under 30 crowd. And it is a way to give voice to that under 30 crowd to not be misrepresented, because, you know, people can read something that someone writes and be like, well, what if he meant this, or what if they meant that, or take those words and skew them a certain way. This was their way of having their, you know, make a video and you hear me talking, you see me speaking, this is my voice, this is what's going on, and to create that content. I mean, this has become a juggernaut in not only just the way to express yourself or create content. People are now using this as a job.
Right.
People sell things through here. You know, just when they took the music down, like we were just talking about, people were like, I don't know how I'm going to put my music out now, because this was getting views that the normal channels don't get anymore. So this is going to be a pretty big thing. And people say, well, you can go to like Instagram or whatever. It was like, well, why would you want to do that? You guys just had those idiots in front of Congress. Like, you're not going to be happy no matter what happens.
Apparently, I think yesterday or the day before, the guy who's the head of TikTok in the United States, I don't know his name, I forgot his name, was
Xiao Chu.
Was apparently on Capitol Hill. Now, he didn't appear in front of any kind of committee or speaking everywhere, but there were a lot of reports that he was on Capitol Hill. So this ban is, if you're not understanding what this is, they're trying to essentially threaten the company that currently owns, or the entity that owns TikTok, which is a Chinese-based company.
ByteDance.
That they're making this law to force them to sell it to an American company, or it will be banned from usage in this country. The president, and it's everywhere, and it's not just like, oh, Fox is putting it out or the New York Post. No, it's on every platform. Of the clip of the president, he was walking somewhere. It's outside, and he says, if they get that to me, I'll sign it and whatever else he has to do. He signs it and hands it over or something like that. But he said, get it in front of me and I'll sign it. So he's on board telling you that, oh yeah, as soon as you vote to ban TikTok, I will sign it. That's not good for him, and he's got a lot of fucking problems right now.
He's got other things to worry about, I think.
Right.
I mean, he's on TikTok himself. They just put a presidential TikTok out. Like, recently, just got a couple videos. Like, don't bemoan the process of this company, or thinking that it's going to steal things and then create your own. It's
almost
so
racketeering in a way.
Feels like it.
On a global level, where it's like, you need to sell this company to us or you can't operate here anymore. Well, what's the difference then? They're screwed either way. It's like, oh, I can't be in the United States, or we don't own it anymore. So what does that company care then?
Yeah.
Apparently it comes down to that they don't believe that China is not data mining information off these TikToks, are trying to sway the elections, or trying to sway American culture, finance, all of these different things. It's a lot bigger than really just the government saying you can't be on TikTok anymore because we don't like TikTok.
Look, I think people can be stupid, but I also don't think that TikTok is swaying people to make decisions one way or the other. I have to believe in humanity.
I will say this:
bit.
There have been some reports, NBC, CBS, all of those things. They have said that a lot of younger people. They also broke it down. I hate when they do it's so weird that everything has to be generational now. But
damn millennials.
They show that, like, you know, our generation, Gen X, is.
I think we're Gen X, yeah.
I am, at least I know. Gen X is Twitter and Instagram. Millennials are more on Instagram. Gen Z is more on TikTok. They were also saying that they're concerned because all these young people under a certain age are getting the majority of their news off of TikTok. Think about maybe 15, 20 years ago when they were having a problem, when they said, well, the majority of the young people in the United States were getting their news from Jon Stewart and The Daily Show. Did they try to sign something there to cancel that show, or to shut up John and all that shit? No, it's just how it was. even though John was going out there, I mean, it was great promotion for him at the time, but he was saying, he's like, look, we're making fun of this stuff. That's great that you're learning about it, but don't try. We're not your news source, for all of these things.
Do your own research.
But it was. So now here we are again. They're going to try to ban TikTok. It looks terrible. As much as I hate a lot of the people on there, I'm not for people losing their jobs. I'm not. Look, it's funny on an entertainment level. It'd be funny and hilarious to see this thing get banned and see all these people having fucking meltdowns that it's gone. That's just from the entertainment perspective. In the reality of it, like you said, there's so many people that are making money off of this stuff. They're
billions of dollars.
Yeah. And good for them. I may hate their personality, their dumb dances, their dumb kids, their dumb content. But if they found a way, they're not really hurting anybody. They're making a living doing that. They should be able to allow to keep going and doing that stuff.
I've made purchases off TikTok. I've bought a few things. Prices are good.
Is one of those things on its way to me right now?
No. Well, yeah. Actually, one of those things is on its way.
Okay, it's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, that was done through Coca-Cola. I have purchased other things through there.
We got featured on TikTok. I forgot at the beginning of the month for Zoa Energy Drinks. Their account featured our video that we did reviewing the Duanta's Holiday Punch. They featured us that day. Which, by the way, thank you, Zoa. No, we're not getting anything from them, but that was really cool that they told us that they did that.
No, what I don't like is they're using data as their impetus to get this going. Yeah.
All right.
Well, he's dead. It's lore. Or B4. Ugh, I hated that stupid shit. Anyway, don't get me going on that one. They claim data as an issue. Like, oh, China's going to get our data.
He was. Once he had the emotional chip in there, he became a liability for the whole enterprise.
Sometimes I envy you, Data.
Shut the fuck up, Data. I would love to hear those outtakes.
Data, shut it off. My data has been leaked by American companies for years. Sony, with PlayStation, screwed up my data. Equifax, or...
I've had Target
has messed up
many times. Target.
Wells Fargo has leaked people's data by accident. Facebook buys and sells people's data constantly. Why is TikTok the thing that gets their everything up in arms? Like I don't believe that's the reasoning. There is something else to it.
It's almost like you're saying it's some kind of political position.
I am steeped in all kinds of conspiracy theory this week with the whole royal family killing off people, I guess. I don't know. And so this is just another thing for me to just start going down and just be like, okay, China has had our data. Don't think that they haven't. Other countries have had our data. The government takes our data constantly. I don't understand why this is a thing. And so it just...
I'll even tell you one more that got breached. Google. Sunday morning, I had an email for an account that I set up for something. And the account's not that old, but it's used to run something else, right?
Right.
And it told me that I needed to update the password. So I updated the password. And it's one of those ones, it's not like I use that account a lot. It's there as, you know how like if you do shit through Apple, if you're running an app, if you're running any kind of business stuff there, you have to have an email that it's built off of and then all the other infrastructure you can build on top of it. That's all it's there for. It's an email for building something, right? I updated that password when I built the thing a couple months ago. Let's see. The thing I got here, your password was found in a data breach from a site or app that you use. It's used for one function, and that is Google. It's not linked to anybody else. It's not on a mailing list. It's not on anything. It's just for a business thing, and it's to Google.
Man it.
Your Google account is not affected. To secure your accounts, Google Password Manager recommends you changing your passwords now. I did a few months back when I created the damn thing. It has numbers and letters and all the other bullshit on there that I had to write it down because it's not something that I would remember. And then you're going to hear, hey, it was in a data breach. And I love how they do that. And like Bank of America, hey, we your your login or something like that was found, or not your login, your card was somehow or attempted to be misused. Oh, was it Target again? It looks like it was Target again. We like to let you know that we're providing you with 1 year of security service and everything here because we take it seriously. It's like you constantly are telling us, here's how we're going to fix it after it already happened, and it continues to happen over and over. How many times, I know there's people hacking and they're trying to breach passwords and getting to accounts and things. I understand that. It's just the way life is now. But it shouldn't be happening every single time that I got to get a notice from one of these companies telling me, hey, you got to change your thing now because it showed up on a data. You just promised me and you gave me the year service that this wouldn't happen again. And this service would let me know if there was like dark web. I think it's for like if your shit shows up on the dark web is one of the parts of the service. Other things to flag if people are trying to duplicate your card and they're buying lavish purchases and things like that. Well, you didn't tell me any of that. You told me after the fact, hey, it looks like this was going on, so the account got shut down and this got flagged, so you're going to have to go and change your password again, and we're going to issue you a new credit card. You're trying to say, look at the good job we're doing. No, you're not doing a good job because you're not getting out in front of it. You're always fixing it after the fact, but you're not getting in front of it to do it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just, you're right. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm constantly getting told, this is happening, this is going on, this is... your data's breached. Your passwords need to be changed. Every day I've got someone trying to get into my Microsoft account, trying to get that, two-factor authentication number. I'm like, okay, what do I do? So it's just one of those things. And I get it. We want to prop somebody up as the big bad. Russia used to be the big bad in the 80s. We were fighting the Middle East for most of our lives through the 90s and the early 2000s. Now we got, China's the big bad.
Right.
It's like, okay, but half our shit's made in China. Half the stuff we buy is from China. All our iPhones are pretty much from China. Tesla has big things in China. Like, get over the China thing, guys. Like, seriously. All your data's out there. We know everything about you. Get over it.
There's a weird thing, the way this world works, is like you would love, if you could, you would love if everybody could make an affordable living, have enough food and clean water to eat and drink, a good place to live, and everyone kind of living their best life, if you will. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way because the way governments are structured. It doesn't work that way. And not just us, but everywhere, it doesn't work that way. In the countries that you think are so fantastic, where they're saying, oh, they have universal health care and they have this and all that. The government gives you everything. Right. Okay. So you may see that on the surface, but then you look at their copays. Look at some of the other things if they have to get higher surgery or elective surgery.
Right.
You're not getting anything covered for that. You're getting screwed out of that. Their taxes go up way too high. There's no balance. It's either you get everything here, but then you're paying through the nose, or you're paying a lot here and you don't get everything. It doesn't balance out. And if you want these products and these goods done so business can keep going. Now I get it gets to a point where they're just profiting off people's misery and poor third world nations by doing this, but you can kind of balance it a little bit, but it'll never be even. You're going to need places like this in order to get shit done, or nothing's ever going to get done.
Half the people are buying goods and services from that stupid Temu site that had like a huge run during the Super Bowl.
I still don't know what that is. It looked
like cheap Chinese knockoff shit. Like people just
is it like the Oriental Trading Company where you can buy like penny whistles and the
it was great for
bang snaps parties. And those things that you could light off and ash snakes kind of pop out on the street.
Yeah, but you can get like artwork, for your house that might have color variations than a traditional artwork.
So it's like a Wayfair?
Yeah, but probably cheaper.
Because with Wayfair you get just what you need. Or so the jingle says.
Please sponsor us, Wayfair.
I would totally sell. I saw that they bought into Kelly Clarkson's doing ads, and they're all about her show. Mm-hmm. I would gladly do a show where it's like, Wayfair presents It's Eric Nagel. We don't know why, but they're doing it, and this is what I'm doing. Everything in my house. So the Temu is garbage stuff. But people are buying it, apparently. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the money to spend on the Super Bowl to do all of that.
I know. Well, it's all those people buying Wi-Fi routers that want to see through their houses and shit.
Trashitarian saying Temu is Oriental Trading Company for everything else. Okay. All right. I get it.
Except they just call it trading company in China.
Fair point.
Yeah.
You stole that from Friends. What do they call Chinese food over there? Well, over there they just call it food. Chandler's dead. All right. So yeah, the TikTok ban is still in the works. It passed one level. Will it pass the second level? Now, today, there's been a list of people who are looking to buy the company. And lo and behold, some of them are foreign higher-ups in the government that are trying to force this so that they can go and buy this company. Imagine
Wait, the government is corrupt in some way?
Remember, maybe you don't, but remember back in the 80s, the big monopoly bust was AT&T.
Yeah.
AT&T, they deemed a monopoly. They had all the regional Bell services, and it was all turned into AT&T. So what happened? The government stepped in. They broke up the monopoly, and then you had for New York, it was New York Bell. You know, that was the regional stuff. Those were the ones that had the telephone book commercials, and the if you saw anything shot in New York at that time, the telephone booths had the yellow thing on the top. It would say New York Bell. I don't know if you had this kind of ad, if they had it regionally for you, but it would say no other book can match it. New York Telephone, right? Then what happened? The Bells got even stronger individually, started to tear themselves off, like the Northeast Bell bought the Mid-Atlantic Bell, and that came into there. And then AT&T started buying into the Bells and wound up getting everything back, and now the juggernaut that AT&T is today. You may not think about it because nobody really talks about AT&T, but they have their cable service, and they're the majority of the phones. If it's not Verizon, the other big dog is AT&T. So
yeah, because
they did pretty well.
Some of these other lower tier, like Mint Mobile, or you've got your Cricket phones, those all work off the AT&T platform.
Verizon Mobile or T-Mobile.
Yeah.
What was the
so
other?
They utilize all their
Sprint's gone. What did it become?
Sprint, I think, got absorbed into
something.
T-Mobile.
And now you have Mint Mobile, which is Ryan. No, he doesn't own it anymore.
No,
he sold it off for like $1 billion. Good for him.
But I'm just saying, they the only way those things function is that they have to piggyback off of certain towers, and those towers are usually AT&T, which means those companies are paying into AT&T. They're getting their money.
It's like Amtrak renting. Sorry, not Amtrak renting. It's like New Jersey Transit or the Pennsylvania Railroad and stuff are all renting the tracks that Amtrak owns.
Mm-hmm.
All the international track lines and everything are owned by Amtrak, at least in the Northeast. The regional train lines that you use are paying rent to Amtrak to use those tracks.
That's only if you land on it, though.
Or operate correctly, or on time, or any of those things. Anyway, people are trying to buy this. One of the top leaders is pushing for this bill to get passed and signed into law. Former Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin. I don't know him personally. I don't even know him professionally, but he's been pushing very hard. He was under Trump's administration. Mm-hmm. He's been pushing very hard to get a group of people together, other investors. He's trying to put this umbrella company together in order for them to purchase TikTok once they can get the president to sign off on this, and the company has to force sell it. Now,
sure, sounds safe.
I would love to see this if it got to that point. If they just said no and weren't going to sell it. That's a lot of money that company's losing, but a bit of a fuck you to the government saying, yeah, we rather not. We're going to lose, a few $1 billion just to have you guys deal with this and the fallout from your voters and the young people in your country. And then guarantee somewhere down the line they come back miraculously, a deal is made. And maybe they put somebody in place that they have almost like the UN. They have a government agency that comes in now and then to do an audit to sort of supervise how the data collection is being used or what have you. I think that's the move to do. If it gets banned, just go, screw you, bye. We'll see you in a few months.
The guy who helps run this through ByteDance, he's from Singapore, so he's not even a Chinese national. He's helping run the company, and he has even come out and said, we are working on a plan to make it a better fit for you guys in the U.S., and they're building a data center in
Apparently
Yeah,
that they
probably Austin or
the
something
CEO
around in
of
Texas.
The American TikTok said that all the cloud service is in America.
Yeah.
Like it's all regulated here. But the government
and that's-
doesn't
and
believe
that's
that they're not letting the Chinese government get access to the material on these cloud services.
Yeah, they're basing this on what if. What if China wanted to do it? Well, what if?
This is a Marvel's what if? What if China?
This is just literally what if thing. Yeah.
All right.
So it's just, it's ridiculous.
Well, he said, I think legislation should pass and I think it should be sold. This needs to be controlled by U.S. business. Does it? Does it really? Now, look, there's some times where U.S. run businesses are far better than some of the international businesses. But that doesn't mean everything. There's a lot of foreign businesses that do a lot better than what American businesses do. It just depends on what the company is and what they're actually doing. So that guy is, as the kids say, sus. Very sus. Rumble, I think this is just a cheap attempt at a press
I
release.
forgot Rumble existed.
Everyone did. Rumble's having their own problems, and Rumble, an online video platform that is popular among conservatives, shared a statement from its CEO on Twitter on Tuesday, addressing the TikTok CEO. How do you say his name?
Shao Zichu, and offered to join a consortium with other parties seeking to acquire and operate TikTok within the United States. It's unclear which other parties would be involved with this. Rumble is just saying, hey, if we can figure out something I could buy in, I'd like to buy into the group and have a percentage of TikTok if we're allowed to do that. It's a cheap press release. They're looking for attention. Former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, or Kotick, however you pronounce it. He has stepped down from his role back in December. Now he's purportedly seeking partners to join him in a potential acquisition of TikTok. Everyone's putting these groups of billionaires together, and it's like, hey, we could all own this. It's going to turn out like when Bart Milhouse and Martin bought the Radioactive Man #1 edition, and they were fighting over it. It got ripped. It fell out of the treehouse, landed in the rain, and then lightning hit it. And then none of them had enjoyed the comic book because the three of us couldn't share. That's what's going to happen here. Here's another name that is so ridiculous. Do you know who Kevin O'Leary is? He's one of the guys on Shark Tank.
He's one of the sharks on Shark Tank. He said, he was quoted recently, not going to get banned because I'm going to buy it. Okay. I would love to see that. I'd love to see Mark Cuban. Imagine they took this thing to a Shark Tank scenario. Mark Cuban's there. Mark Zuckerberg's there. All these people are there vying to own TikTok.
I was actually just thinking about it, where they have the guy, the CEO running TikTok, having to go on Shark Tank, and they're all trying to vie and see who's going to buy it, and it ends up just being like Mark Cuban or something. But they get it like super cheap.
Imagine it's Vince McMahon. Oh, he just sold a bunch of stock. Made $400 million selling TKO stock. Still has a ton left in the company, but he's been a multi-billionaire for almost 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Imagine out of nowhere, you just hear the music going, no, Chad. He comes out there and it's Vince McMahon walking out. He owns TikTok. And you're like, what is going on in this world?
Walking out with it.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Logan Paul, you're fired. Kicked off of TikTok. He just does that to all these really influential TikTok people. He's just firing them all. Be fantastic.
Oh, it's Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast buys TikTok.
No, but not everybody hates Mr. Beast.
No, but
a lot of people don't like Elon Musk. A lot of people don't like Mark Zuckerberg. If Vince McMahon bought TikTok, if Vince McMahon bought TikTok, you'd have like the 3 major social media platforms owned by people that the world can't stand.
Right.
And it's just wrestling all over again. I think that would be fantastic.
Or your algorithm is just pushing nothing but wrestling.
Yeah.
So you're not worried about anything now. I'm just getting old.
Just and it's not even the wrestling he used to own. It's all AEW and like Jersey All Pro Wrestling. Like all these shitty little leagues that nobody cares about.
A lot of luchador masks.
Well, it's not just TikTok that's having these kind of problems.
No.
Not to this level, but they're also having problems. Pornhub. Good old Pornhub. Now, we've known for at least a year or two, Pornhub had implemented, I think it was government enforced, or at least state government enforced in certain areas that they had to have some kind of coding in their sites that you had to not just prove your age, but you had to scan your license or some form of legal ID, submit it into your account. You had to have an account. Like those porn sites, you didn't have to have an account unless you were like a porn star or an OnlyFans person or whatever, that you made an account to put your videos on there to start making money and stuff. Now, as a user of these sites, you have to log in, make an account, and have your legal ID identified and be approved for all of that. So certain states have this. Texas definitely had it, and then it became such a big ordeal that they're fighting against Texas now. They've turned it off in the state of Texas. You can no longer receive Pornhub.
I would love that. It's just some giant like map of the United States, and they have lights in each one, and then they just unscrew the bulb, and it just turns off Texas's porn, access, and they just like, nope, we're gonna shut it off.
Yeah, from space you see the orange lights everywhere, and just a dark Texas right there.
There's no pornography.
It's like looking at the world map and seeing North Korea. It's just this little part of the peninsula that has nothing going on. So they turned off Pornhub in the state of Texas. The article says Pornhub and other affiliated adult websites have blocked access to users living in Texas amid a legal battle with the Lone Star State's Attorney General over age verification laws. Last week, a federal appeals court upheld a Texas law requiring pornography sites to institute age verification measures to ensure only 18 and older are able to access them, while it also struck down a part of the law requiring porn sites to display health warnings. That's new. I didn't know that part. To display health warnings about the content. That came after a previous federal judge ruling that the Texas law violated the United States Constitution's First Amendment, prohibiting against free speech restrictions. Texas Attorney General office immediately appealed the decision. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were trying to imagine. It's bad enough when you're trying to click on a video, and depending on the site, I guess they all do it. But the one that gets mentioned a lot is Brazzers, where all of a sudden you go to click a video and then there's like a 20-second pre-roll before the video comes on. They all the sites do it. But imagine you're going and you're not even getting that, because that's an advertisement for the site that you're on. They're trying to get you to log in and be a paying member. I get it. It's a business. But if you're watching there and they're just showing you like really horrific sex ed videos, like gonorrhea is not your friend. You're watching that before you're trying to get into the mood to watch the video, and you're just seeing, the rise in AIDS is at an all-time high and you're like, what? What are you doing
now
here?
To the jerkin.
Truvada for PrEP is showing up. I can't do that. It's over. I've lost it. It's done. I can't do this stuff. I didn't know a health warning was part of all of this.
When I was in Germany, they have a law where all the cigarettes have pictures of like black lung and different maladies all over the boxes of cigarettes. And when you're like, if you're there like buying cigarettes, it's just all there. That seems like that's what they're doing here. It's like they got to tell you about all the crap that can happen if you're. Look, I'm not here on Pornhub with 5 other people. I'm pretty sure I'm okay. Like, let me in. Got stuff to do.
Our pal Fuggy's in the chat. Go follow his channel on Twitch. He's a gamer. He's a young dude. He's learning. He's fun to watch. I guess everything's going to be smaller in Texas from now on. That is a fair statement. So they're fighting against the age verification, which I'm not against, but I do have an issue. Scanning your license or legal ID to go to some of these sites seems weird. Like, you have to do it for a bank site, some kind of financial institution. If you're doing stock trading, those kind of things, that I kind of get, and then even DMV government stuff like there, you have to have your ID, legal ID, driver's license, whatever. I get that. A lot of other websites, they have the age verification, but you just everybody puts January 1st, 1970 or something, just to get
my
in there.
birthday.
Yeah, because nobody wants to put their real information in there. I don't know if
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of
having
Chinese data mining to me.
I don't know if I'm okay with scanning my license to do it. Now,
Right. How'd your wife catch you? Well, I had to put my license in and they had to contact me.
Here's something interesting. To get verified on Instagram, right? They require for your ID
Yeah, same
to
with
prove
YouTube.
that you are. Now, it's not like this was something new. Any kind of person who gets verified, important figure, celebrity, government official, world leader, business CEO, any like that stuff, they need to have it in order to verify you, and then they take care of it. Even that I wasn't comfortable with. But I did it because I thought it doesn't mean anything now. The verification doesn't mean anything, but I thought at the time it might. Going to a website, I mean, there are other porn sites besides Pornhub, but Pornhub is like the best or the most mainstream known.
From what I hear from other sources, it's pretty good quality.
No, I'm not denying the quality, but I'm saying as far as recognition, that people know other websites, but I think as far as like the lexicon
people recognize
goes,
the
people
logo
know Pornhub.
without even.
Yeah,
people would recognize the logo. To take the Pornhub out of the logo, they would recognize.
All the Pornhub is just it was an invert of the YouTube logo.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I get the age verification. I do believe it's necessary. I'm not saying like the kids shouldn't have access to it. Yeah, they definitely shouldn't legally. But, you all grew up. You found Playboys. You found Penthouses. You don't have that anymore. That's how you found it. Now it's just anything that can access the internet will give you direct connection to something, no matter how many safeguards you put in front of it. I don't know how I feel here. I'm for the age verification. I don't know about scanning the license. I don't know. Do you think that people are going to be like, oh, if I scan my license, I'm on the grid in a certain way? Well, you're always on the grid.
100%.
But it's like, hey, this license checked in here. Hey, this guy's a known criminal. He's wanted in several states, but he just signed into Pornhub in Texas. We have that information. We can go and find him now. Is that the big concern?
That's what I think. Well, I mean, people are always concerned about their data. It goes back to the TikTok thing. We don't
Apparently
want China
not.
to have
If
our
they're all
data.
on TikTok, they don't give two shits about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're so concerned about data in that sense, those same people aren't scanning their licenses or wouldn't scan their license. Like, I have issue with doing it in certain cases. Like, I have to get our other channel for the other show registered with YouTube to be able to do any monetary function. I do have to scan my license, and I'm kind of iffy about that too.
Right.
And I don't, not me personally, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think having to scan my license to get into this kind of site should be a thing. Now, put it behind a paywall, sure. But, take away the free content, but give the content.
Right.
Put it behind the paywall, then you have to say, okay, well, then you have to pay with a card. If you have that card is linked to your banking institution, which, in theory, you would have to be of age to have this account. There should be other checks and balances that you be able to do that. I don't like the idea of saying, because we don't like certain content, we're going to ban it. And it seems like Texas seems to lean toward, if we don't like it, we're getting rid of it. And it's just it's a slippery slope.
Well,
I don't think
up until
kids
now,
need this
like
kind of stuff. But
even right now, it's their right to do so. They can do it.
is.
It's being challenged, but they were allowed to do it. It's not like they did something immediately illegal and then the federal government has to come in and say, you have to stop that. That's illegal. They're leaning on the state of Texas, even with the border stuff. It's not like the federal government saying, well, what you're doing is immoral and wrong, and we think it's wrong and you should lighten up on it. Governor of Texas is saying it's not illegal and it falls in our jurisdiction, so we can do whatever the fuck we want, and that's what we're going to do. That's when it becomes a challenge. This seems to be the same. Now it's got to be interpreted by maybe a state Supreme Court or a federal Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, as far as if this is a First Amendment violation or what have you. It's for better people than us to figure all that out. It's just weird that it's gotten to that point now. I'm for the age verification, but yeah, it's like you have to prove who you are, where you live, all of that stuff in order to just see shit that nobody wants publicly out there to begin with.
Right.
To know their porn history, to know what they're into, their kinks or their genres and what have you here. Taking a quick step back, Tom from Alberta saying, no, Pornhub was the big name. I'm sorry, not Pornhub, YouPorn was the big name before Pornhub, but Pornhub bought YouPorn years ago. So that's how Pornhub became the big name. I forgot all about YouPorn. It didn't matter. I mean, I didn't frequent that site, so
he goes to Reddit like the other mongrels.
Yeah. Fuggy saying, imagine cops having to get a warrant to access your Pornhub profile info in order to geolocate you. They would probably get the same pushback like when they have to go to Apple or to Google for the Android phone. It's like, hey, we need to crack this person down. They wouldn't even do it for missing children for Amber Alerts because they felt it was violating, civil rights and what have you there. So if the phone company's not going to do it for a missing child,
right?
What chance do you have of Pornhub willingly working with law enforcement somewhere and say, hey, let's, okay, he was watching, of course, stepdad porn, and here he's over in this area of Oklahoma. Go find him.
Yeah, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just funny how much we're wanting to hand over certain things to people just to do basic functions.
I don't know the name definition. It is a bit wordy, but it is interesting in the chat. Cargo Cult Luau. A porn site scanning my ID. No, thank you. I think scanning your license into a database is just like that is just not safe. Seems like a good way to have identity theft issues. I think that's also a big concern too.
Now, I remember when they were talking about this law, they were saying that they only would require you to do age verification with that license, and then within 6 months, that data gets wiped. I doubt that. I really doubt that. I know that that's what they mean for it to happen. I don't think that's how it's ultimately going to end up. And you're going to see a lot of data breaches with that.
Yeah,
but that was their thought, is that, well, we have to
Could you imagine,
set a thing.
Like I did Sunday, you wake up and you see an email letting you know your Pornhub password has showed up on a data breach on the dark web. You may want to go in there and check your password and update your personal information.
I don't even know how to get to the dark web. Like, apparently everyone knows how to get there. I don't know.
I don't either.
The darkest web I get to is Reddit, and I hate going there.
What is Tom saying here? Texas bans abortions, now Pornhub. The date rape numbers are going to go crazy. It's probably not that far off. What did I see here? Dave Brody. I heard at church that X-Hamster requires proof of it. I heard at church that X-Hamster. That's another site I forgot about. X-Hamster. Is X-Hamster's still around.
I think it's still around.
Yeah. That is pretty funny.
I mean, half the time, if you really want some, smut material, you could literally just do a Google photo search. You don't even need these sites. So Texas is going to have some issues with this, I think.
They seem to love to have issues. Nobody's stopping them with their border stuff, whether you agree or disagree isn't important. But he's out there all the time. It's like, hey, we're putting out these floating mine-looking things with the balls.
It's just like World War II landmine,
it
like
looks
the sea
like
mines they were cleaning up in Godzilla.
It looks like those. Remember when they'd have like the wall, or those extreme sports kind of things,
right,
where you'd see people like American Ninja Warrior. All right, we'll go with that. They're putting it out there in the river separating Mexico and Texas there with these giant balls that they're trying to get over. But if they fall over to the side, there's blades on the side.
That's what they got to do, is just set up an elaborate American Ninja Warrior or a Wipeout situation, and anyone they can get across.
That was the other one.
Welcome to America,
not the wall. Yeah. So if they get over the board, they fall into that. They've got barbed wire everywhere. It's not like you just don't qualify to go to the nationals for America.
Right.
You know what?
Let me call Matt. National.
I'm going to call Matt Eisman, see if I can get him to do a voiceover for something American Ninja Warrior about the. He probably will say awesome. No. But anyway, just a thought. Yeah, so you have all that going on. Texas is not a stranger to fighting taking on all comers,
literally
and figuratively. You know what? Maybe that is the show.
That's the title. It's disgusting and perfect.
I can't spell it the way I want because I think that'll get kicked off. All right, I'll figure.
No, but you could put Texas : accepting all comers, and we'll know what it's about. You filthy monsters.
All right. And done and added. All right. There's something else I want to get onto before because we're running a little late. We got to go to break.
We got a lot of segment 2.
Real quick, what was you said you had is the health thing? Does that need to be addressed or?
No. It's just more of I started doing more running. Like you had told me the other day that someone we mutually know had a health incident, and it just really got me thinking about my own stuff. Like I ended up hurt myself a couple years back, and it just forced me to stop really kind of paying attention to that sort of thing. So I started doing more running and working out. And people that say I love running, you guys can go to hell. Running sucks. I hate running. I hate doing it. We were talking the other day after I was running for a little bit, and it was just there's got to be better ways. I don't want to join a gym. I hate the gym culture. So I got to find better ways. I'm starting to eat a little healthier. Except for the consumer,
right? Yeah, the consumer.
Which we have some stuff coming up here for that.
Damn it! I just switched out of that. Now I got to switch.
I
back
saw
to
it on there, and I didn't notice you switched. Sorry. But
yes,
we got some consumer stuff.
I do want to show that. Before I get into what I wanted to talk about here, the consumer is finally launched. We've been doing it for a decade on Instagram. And we kept talking about, well, maybe we do a video version. I never thought a video version would work because I see other people's food reviews. Some do it really well. A lot of you don't. A lot of them are terrible. I don't need to see fat fucks sitting in their cars after going through a drive-through and then eating nonsense. And it's not attractive and it's not fun. But there's other people who take their reviews way too seriously where they're trying. It's obviously that they are sucking up to the companies in order for free product, because then they want to be influencers, not just the food reviewers anymore. They want to be in good with the company. We don't give a shit about any of that stuff. We're not looking for free stuff.
We'll rip you apart if it's gross.
We're not looking for free stuff. We'll take free stuff, but we're not looking for free stuff. We're not looking to pander to companies. We're not doing any of those things. The video version had a soft launch this morning.
Yeah.
As we're recording. So Thursday, it had a soft launch. It's up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com. Why do I keep saying the .com? I'm being old. Go over to YouTube. Look for the It's Eric Nagel channel if you're watching us there or whatever. The first episode is up. Now, here's the thing. We have a lot of episodes that we have not released. So we're playing catch up to try to get to real time. Catch up. Wait.
That's the next show.
Now I got to do that. Hold on.
Ketchup. 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 Are you here to solve my ketchup problem?
I am here to solve your ketchup problem. We're releasing them as fast as we can to get them all up to date so that we can have the current ones come out and you can see that. But it's available up on our YouTube channel. That's the first episode right there. You can see that. That's all the stuff that we reviewed in that episode. Some of the stuff may not be out anymore, but we did the review at the time. We are playing catch up for all of that.
Catch up?
And go and check that out. If you like it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it around, and send it to other food reviewers and saying, this is how you do it. Your shit is whack. Kids still say whack? I don't know.
On God.
On God. Back to your health stuff here. So, I was concerned, but I didn't realize it was just you were falling apart because you're now trying to run at your age.
Well, like I said, what you had told me the other day and what I kind of listened to, it kind of put things in perspective. I mean, the person I'm talking about is maybe a year and a half older than me, maybe 2 years older than me. He's around our age. And, to go through that kind of scare just kind of makes me realize I ain't getting any younger. I got to get things back in order. I tried, but I just couldn't get the formula.
You definitely look older than me. I will.
It's 2 weeks in a row, you asshole.
I will say that because it's not wrong.
Damn it!
It is a fact of life.
So yeah, I got to work on better eating habits. I'll save the consumer stuff and my snack stuff with the other show as like the outliers and try to eat better. I've been doing a lot of. I'm kind of want to go back more toward the keto side of things that I used to do, without going full crazy and having to talk about it constantly. I'm not one of those vegan types.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just going to start doing a little bit better and start doing some of that. But I hate the working out part of it. Sucks.
Of course
I just want to go take that diabetic medicine that everyone else keeps doing and get thin real quick. But yeah, I can't do that.
Ozempic.
Ozempic, yeah.
Yeah.
Should be like, yeah, I got diabetes. Give me the shot.
Yeah, that's it. I'm a celebrity. I want to lose a bunch of weight. I'm Jordan.
Right.
Do you not know who I am? Nobody does. But I want to.
I'm on 2 shows that you've never heard of. Come on now.
Correct. What would one of those shows be?
I'm on this current show, the It's Eric Nagel Show, and then
Okay.
I'm also on I'll Watch It Later podcast.
Okay. So it's something like this. That's just gross.
He's gonna kill me.
It's so gross. Anyway, I saw this news report the other day, and I found it very interesting, and I want to bring it to you here. We talked about how last summer I went and willingly, I forced the issue to go get a colonoscopy.
Yes.
And I got a lot of pushback on it. They're like, well, you don't need it. We don't think it's necessary. And it's like, I don't give a shit.
Young.
I have a whole thing of people I know that had issues and stuff. I want to get it done. Just let me do it. And they let me do it.
Pull up your pants. This is a Wendy's.
Now,
things like that.
That would be where I'm at is sort of the rarity for it, because most people try to avoid getting a colonoscopy because they don't want to know if anything's bad, and they don't want it's better not knowing than knowing, right?
Yeah.
But as they've said for many decades, that the best treatment is early detection, and colon cancer can be cured if detected early enough. So when you're trying to be proactive and you've seen a lot of younger people around you having issues and you go, hey, I would like to check. Well, we don't really think you need it. I'll find another doctor then that will let me go and do this because this is ridiculous. You should be celebrating that somebody's saying, hey, let's get to work, put on a glove and let's get in there, right? So it's a whole to do. But apparently there's a new test that is heading to the FDA to be approved to help with colon cancer screening, and it's fairly accurate.
Huh.
It's a whole big thing. Here, take a look.
It really is, Lester. Colon cancer can be treatable if it's caught early, but more than 40% of adults 45 and older don't follow screening guidelines, often deterred by colonoscopies or at-home stool tests. Now, a large new study in the New England Journal of Medicine reports a blood test was able to detect 83% of colorectal tumors. While colonoscopy is still the most accurate screening, this new test is designed for people with average risk of colon cancer and no family history. The test is already available, but since it's not approved by the FDA yet, it is not covered by insurance and costs about $900. The test maker, Guardant Health, tells us the FDA will be considering approving the test later this year.
I know you'll be following it, Ann.
Isn't that interesting? If it's at 83% now and it's heading to the FDA to be reviewed, that it could possibly be approved. This is just the start. Give it some time. You know, they'll get donation money for from cancer research and whatever else once it's approved. Who knows? I mean, everything moves so fast right now. Maybe in the next couple of years, it'll be in somewhere in the night, because nothing's ever 100%. But if you're somewhere over 95, I think the odds are good for taking that kind of test.
95.
Yeah.
I mean, at 95, I figure if you're going to die, you're already close to it anyway. You don't get to take the test.
Not the age, the percentage of success.
I know.
You big old man Jordan.
Old man me.
But I thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow, going forward, if this thing gets approved and gets the funding and they can improve the research and the detection, that it's just going in to get a blood test and you don't have to, or may not have to, do a colonoscopy as time goes on. I mean, maybe once in a while, if it's like we want to get in there and take a look. It's clunking around like an old car. It's like we're going to get under the hood and just give it a once over.
Lube, oil, and filter.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I found that to be really good news.
I think a lot of it is just to try to get past the stigma of getting the colonoscopy. Like, everyone always just makes the jokes of the doc going up there. It's like, okay, just go get it done, man. You're knocked out. Go have yourself an ice cream after and you're fine.
Right.
Get over it. Just get it done.
Get it done. Can't push that enough for people. Pun. So I want to show you this before we go to break, because we are running. It's going to be another long show. I apologize. We keep trying to get it down. It's never going to get down to an hour. We keep trying.
I even tried to be prepped, and then you had all your technical issues. I'm like, damn it.
I wanted to show you this, and I wanted to essentially maybe scare the bejesus out of you a little bit. AI technology. Everyone has their likes and dislikes about AI technology. We've seen what it's been doing as far as the photo generating. Now there's legalities for that because of it's stealing art concepts and styles, and if not somebody else's work, and then regenerating it into a new creation, repurposing it, if you will.
Right.
We're seeing the stuff with audio, with voice generation. There are, I mean, we saw the biggest one was the Joe Rogan episode that never happened, where it generated a whole episode of him and Ben Shapiro going to the beach that makes you old. And from there, it's just gone off where
I wish that was real.
There's stuff where there's like Joe Biden's voice and Hulk Hogan's voice and all of these different things. And then in certain industries, they have it conventions or updates for, it's like, if you're not using AI for your news your news producing, or if you're not using AI for your radio production, you're falling behind the times. And in some ways, I get it; it helps. But in other ways, you have those stations like out in on the West Coast that have AI generated DJs because you don't need people anymore for that. Not a fan of that.
I'm for AI as a tool to enhance things, but not take over completely.
Right. So this video I want to show you is some kind of TED Talk kind of thing, where they're talking about these new advancements in AI. One of them is about it being able to generate or translate your dreams and your thoughts. Like it can, like apparently if you're thinking something, I guess technically it's on a radio wave. And this thing is now getting closer to being able to read your mind just because you think of something. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, let's take a look at this and see what you think here. Hold on. Here we go.
The latest paper, the one that happened even after this, which is already better, uses Stable Diffusion, uses the thing that you use to make art. Like, what should a thing that you use to make art have anything to do with reading your brain? But of course, it goes further. So in this one, they said, can they understand the inner monologue, the things you're saying to yourself in your own mind? Mind you, by the way, when you dream, like your visual cortex runs in reverse, so your dreams are no longer safe. But we'll try this. So they had people watch a video and just narrate what was going on in the video in their mind. So there's a woman, she gets hit in the back, she falls over. This is what the computer reconstructed the person thinking. See a girl, looks just like me, get hit in the back, and then she is knocked off. So
hold on, did you hear the gasps? And the people in the audience are like, oh no.
No, we don't need that.
And this isn't like they let people in for watching Saturday Night Live. It's not people waiting online for tickets for standby to get in to see a TV show. This is a collection of people in science and technology looking at these new reports and seeing this stuff demonstrated for the first time, and seeing that this thing is now scanning your mind and then able to recreate your dream, or at least the text-based version right now of your dream.
These are all like the top scientists. They're all, top of the field, out like that. They do this, and then you hear one just go, "Oh, fuck that!" Just out of nowhere. No, I can't. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing this. Go cure cancer. Stop staring at my brain.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You don't want to be in there. I don't like being in there.
Yeah, I'm going back here. Just listen to the.
Is knocked off. So our
see, people freaked out.
Thoughts
are not
are starting to be decoded. Yeah, just think about what this means for authoritarian states, for instance. Or if you want to generate images that maximally activate your pleasure sensor, or anything else. Okay, but let's keep going, right? To really get the sense of the combinatorics of this. How about, can we go from Wi-Fi radio signals, sort of like the Wi-Fi routers in your house, they're bouncing off radio signals that work sort of like sonar. Can you go from that to where human beings are to images? So what they did is they had, a camera looking at a space with people in it. That's sort of like coming in from one eye. The other eye is the radio signals, so sonar from the Wi-Fi router. And they just learned to predict, this is where the human beings are. Then they took away the camera. So all the AI had was the language of radio signals bouncing around a room. And this is what they're able to reconstruct.
They turned
real-time
your router
3D pose estimation.
They turned your router into sonar.
They turned these people into the original Little Mac from Punch-Out.
Oh yeah, where he was
just a wireframe.
He was all green, going body blow, body blow. Yes.
Yeah, that's creepy.
So
No, that
now
is real creepy.
these programs are, because your router is dealing with Wi-Fi, it's taking the Wi-Fi signal and essentially pinging where it's hitting.
Yeah. It's
So
finding,
now
like
it
all
can
the solid objects.
right now, like it was getting the layout of a room, like depending how fast it would be, because if you don't know what sonar is, it's what submarines in the Navy use. So they send out a sound, and then when it bounces back, based on how it comes back, they can determine how far something is, how big something is, how fast it's moving, all of that stuff. Now, the router in your house can be doing this, and it's building the layout of your living room.
Yeah, it's mapping your house.
It's mapping your house, where you are in the house, and what you're doing or what pose you were in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting there watching Pornhub and you're like that, all of a sudden now, there it is.
Not you, Texas.
I'm just trying to bring it all together. That's what I'm doing.
Right? So suddenly, AI has turned every Wi-Fi router into a camera that can work in the dark, specially tuned for tracking living beings.
Oh my God, there is so much Wi-Fi out there.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up?
Nah. I don't want to have to go live in the woods, Eric, but you're really pushing me to go be one of these off-the-grid weirdos.
It's not wanting to. It's just, this is where it is. Like, I'm thinking, oh, we're at this point now where it's mimicking artwork and voice patterns.
Right.
No, now it's tracking where you are and rebuilding the image. So you could be hiding. Like, say again, bring it back to the law. Trying to find you.
The law.
They're at your house. They can't get in, or they don't have a warrant to get in. But for some reason, they have a warrant to ping off your Wi-Fi, and it starts mapping out the house and goes,
they can see who's in there.
He's hiding in the basement, so we know where he is before we send the officers in to make the arrest. He's down in the basement. It looks like he's hiding under a table, or he's in a closet or something. He doesn't have anything in his hands. That's where it's heading. And it's kind of here already, but it's still got a ways to go. That shit's terrifying. I used to love watching these like science and tech talks where you're sitting there and it's like, wow, that's cool. They're building these robotic things to help replace people who have who lost their legs, or maybe were born without legs. Like that kind of stuff. You're like, that's pretty awesome. Or here's stuff that's going to help improve air travel or space travel. Like, fantastic, awesome to watch. Then you see this other side. And it's like, you can. It's just in there, and it's The Simpsons. I know you can read my thoughts, boy. Meow 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 meow. That's that.
Just a bunch of cats.
That's what it is.
I know. Nope.
Terrifying, right?
It is. And you say it's far off away. You're talking 6 months. Like technology.
I didn't say it's far off away.
Well, you said it's still a ways away. No, a ways away could be 6 months because the way technology is moving and the way things are going.
We're just only seeing what they're showing us now. There could be look. We only know what Apple's working on when they do their big grandiose events and show us the newest iPhone or the newest thing that they're doing for the Mac or some kind of software or whatever. That's only what they're showing you now. Doesn't mean we don't know what else. It does mean we don't know what else they're working on. Like
we're getting closer and closer to that Minority Report style of living, where people are predicting things before it can happen, using algorithms, using these Wi-Fi things. We're going to be able to see things happen. Body fluctuations. What if some guy was dreaming about killing his wife, and now he's on a list? So if something happens or there's a domestic dispute, we know we can pick this guy up because he thought about killing his wife.
Yep.
This is not something to take lightly. And I'm not.
It's exactly what
this has been a week of weird conspiracy theory stuff for me, but this is not helpful.
It's our pal Girk from the Girk Ensemble right there in the chat. If the router can record and keep data 24 hours a day, you can catch murderers pretty easily. That's where they're going to try to sell it to you. It's like, look, this is for your own safety and your own protection. And then it turns into Minority Report. It turns into everything else where it's just you have no privacy anymore. Like you can't walk through a city. And even most small towns now, you can't walk down Main Street without being on a camera somewhere. Right. Be it a speed trap, for the red lights, be it security cameras on businesses.
Have them.
You can't even walk around your neighborhood because everyone has Ring cams or whatever the other camera is for your doorknob. Nest or what, something like that. But you know what I'm talking about. They have those on there. People have dashboard cams on their car. The Teslas are constantly recording, so they can see if in the parking lot,
if too close to their car.
Yeah, and bangs into your door, you can go back and see the footage of who banged into your car. And it's like you have nowhere to go unless you leave, unless we have no power left on this planet or we leave the planet entirely. You eventually have nowhere you can go that you're not being monitored. I'm having a hard enough time now that I had to turn Alexa on because the kid is obsessed with Alexa. Asking for like whatever Disney stuff or Nickelodeon stuff or whatever stuff they're watching, asking Alexa to play those songs while they're playing and doing other things. It became sort of a necessary evil. But I would rather not that thing be on. I told stories back in the day where that thing would be in another room and it would just start laughing for no reason.
Yeah, that's creepy. I've had weird stuff happen with mine too.
Right.
Or like it just like no one says anything and then it's always like ding, like listening. I'm like, I didn't say anything. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff's creepy.
Or
sometimes.
if at one point when Alexa Bliss was still on Monday Night Raw and you're watching that and Michael Cole's yelling, Alexa off the top rope, whatever. And then all of a sudden Alexa would turn on and play somebody's song that it was called The Top Rope. And then I'm like, no, stop. I don't care.
I ordered you 50 feet of rope and now you're on some FBI watch list.
It's ridiculous. Last thing as far as technology goes, try to get a little lighthearted with this, and then we got to take a break and do segment 2 with all that stuff here. Now, you know how when it comes also robotics and technology and AI, where you had things like ChatGPT, where you always got the reports that a lot of this stuff was generating racism and hatred. And the people were getting upset. It's like, I don't understand why everything defaults to racism and hatred.
I don't like why you're reading my blog.
Because all of this starts with user error. Or the users in general are the people, up until recently, we didn't have access to ChatGPT. Just the tech people who were making it. So if when it came out and all of a sudden it was becoming super racist, well, it had to start from somewhere. Now, granted, people are feeding into it now, but before all of that, for it to turn this fast, probably a lot of it was coming from your end, right? So there's always that thing where the chats were going in racial directions. There was a thing recently where Google had some sort of I forgot what it's called, some other AI program where you can say, I would like to see a farmer outside riding a tractor plowing the field. And a lot of the times, like, you would generate something, but then you would say, show me Abraham Lincoln if he was at the 1935 World Series. And then Abe Lincoln was black. Or like off-white kind of deal, like Hispanic or something, right? You go, that's weird. And then they'd start generating other things, and it was doing on purpose, it turns out, that it was generating anything but white people for this stuff.
We're hard to animate, Eric.
Right. Well, for when they would say generate this, and if you said white, you would get an alert saying that we are not able to generate stuff for, we're trying to be all inclusive or whatever. And then, but if you said, I hate having to say this, but I saw this online. It was something about show somebody enjoying fried chicken. And there is this white guy sitting there at a picnic table eating fried chicken. Okay. And then they asked something that would be mostly predominantly white, and it wasn't. And people were, and the news was on it too. It's talking to Google, like, what's going on here? Well, there's some tweaks and stuff we have to work on here, but they had things in place to try to prevent racial stuff from being generated. But I saw what you wrote there, Jordan. Don't think I'm not seeing what you're doing at all times. I am your AI. They were purposely putting in those safeguards for it, but then regenerating well-known white historical figures or white celebrities, whatever, with other things. So you can't say, oh, that's just the information it's getting from the public and it's determining that. It comes from the developers. You purposely were putting safeguards in there so this stuff wasn't there, but leaving other things out, so that's why everything was off balance. Point I'm getting at is that all this technology comes out and they think it's going to be great, and then they're flabbergasted. Oh, I want to play that one because I haven't played that one in a long time here. Where is it? Give me the flabbergasted. Damn it, I thought I had it. There it is. I found it there.
I'm flabbergasted.
They are flabbergasted by the fact when these things come out for their demonstrations or their new releases that it's doing or saying or generating something inappropriate. So, with that said, I take you to Saudi Arabia, where they are demonstrating their first full-scale humanoid male robot. And they have it out there to test and demonstrate its functionality. It looks very human-esque. It's not. You would not mistake it
humanoid.
It would not mistake it for being an actual human, but it looks like it comes from like Madame Tussauds Wax Museum kind of thing.
It's a Johnny Cab from Total Recall.
Look what happens. They bring it out. Look what it does. Ready? Here we go. You can see it right there. And
yeah, it does.
It starts grabbing and patting her ass.
It's just following its programming.
Exactly my point. It's just leaning over there. Oh, look, there's even closer. It's copping a feel. Now, she's a very attractive woman, but we all know in polite society that's not appropriate. You don't do that. You'd want to, but you don't do that. Well, the robot doesn't know that. And the robot goes, hey, this is a very attractive human being. Leans over and gives her a little pat.
It's like I've never seen a woman's hair before.
Right.
Yoink.
So then, the problem, it's like, why is this always racism? Why is it always sexism? Why is it always this? Because human beings, it's not just Americans, human beings are a problem. We're always going to be a problem. Unless you wipe everybody's mind, it's always going to have some shape or form in our society where this stuff is still happening. It's never fully going to go away. Not condoning it. I'm sorry, I am condoning it, but I'm not supporting it. But it's just going to always happen. And it's because of human beings feeding this stuff into there and programming it. That's how it's learning.
Look, I want stories of people stealing radio towers and sexual assault robots. That's all I want. And I love it.
Sexual assaulting robots.
Right.
Well, what if it got to the point where they built it like I don't want to say House of Burlesque because like a whorehouse. All right, I don't know. I can't think of a proper term.
Well, they already have those sex robots on the market.
Yeah, I know, but that's like buying some kind of apparatus or something
like
and having it in your home. But if they could get the technology down where you could just go to like in Vegas, the ranches that they have, go there, you pay the fee, you rent the robot, you do what you do, and you leave. Maybe that cuts down on sexual aggression and attacks in the real world. Because it's available for them to go in.
Situation, and then one of them's now alive and trying to sue you for sexual assault.
Johnny Five jerk you off. Yes, let's go. Let's go and have this done. And it's somehow
a fun title, not usable.
And it's all white guys pretending to be Hindu, like Fisher Stevens.
Yeah, wow, that looks like Fisher Stevens. Yeah, it looks like.
So, yeah, it's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be creepy. It's because everybody who builds everything is not perfect, is creepy, is a human being. That's what happens. All right. When we come back, we're going to do segment 2 where we're going to tell you a whole bunch of stuff this week. We think that would calm down, but no. We always have a bunch of stuff for segment 2. Television, movies, streaming updates. We do all that stuff. Let you know what's going on because Lord knows you don't have the time to do so, but we do. We'll be right back.
More. It's Eric Nagel. It's Eric Nagel. Next.
Hey, it's Shane Gillis. After you're done listening to this episode of It's Eric Nagel, come check out the show I do with Matt McCusker called Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. It's just me and Matt shooting the breeze, talking about everything, talking about life. He had a kid. I got fired from Saturday Night Live. It's fun. You're going to like it. So get Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast on Apple or Google Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. I don't know, me and Matt fucking around. It's good. You're going to like it. Thanks.
It's
Eric Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Eric Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itsericnagel.com. It's Eric Nagel. Eric Nagel.
Segment 2 of the show, Jordan, Eric here with you, going over television, movies, streaming stuff, all the things that you need to know about. We filtered out the garbage and put it into a convenient portion of the program for you to learn about. As we always do, Jordan, what are you watching? What have you watched? What do the people need to know?
I started off the week watching the Academy Awards. Probably about half of it. Hit all the major topics. Nothing too great. I mean, it's still just as unfunny as it tries to be funny.
I meant to pull a clip. There was actually a funny clip from the Oscars.
Was it like on the actual show or like in the red carpet stuff? Okay.
No, it was on the actual show. It was Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was funny.
Shitting on Michael Keaton.
And Michael Keaton just out there being all Bruce Wayne-like, stone face, like, I'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an interview after that it aired on Jimmy, and he was talking about how they had planned stuff and then stuff like that. And he's like, and then I thought at the last second, I'm going to bring this ascot. And then they're like, wait, how many ascots do you got? And it was a whole bit. And there's been pictures circulated on the internet of who was Bruce Wayne in the 60s?
Adam West?
Adam West. So they have a picture of him dressed as Bruce Wayne, but he had an ascot, so that's why he did it. So it was like an homage to the 60s Batman and doing his own thing as like an older Bruce Wayne. That was one of the rare moments where it was a funny bit. I enjoyed the I'm Just Ken thing, and Slash was out there playing. That was a fun bit. It brought a little bit more fun to the show altogether. And then I really like what they did with the Best Actress, Best Actor awards, where they brought out 5 of previous award winners and they had them introduce each person. That was kind of cool, just to see, through history, who's still around doing stuff.
Okay.
I think the overall the show was just kind of eh. So
it was done by 10:30. I was amazed.
And they started it at 4:30 Pacific time, so that's 3 hours, like 7:30 your time. And yeah, they got it done. I was looking at the clock after it finished. It was 7:30. I'm like, this usually goes on for another 2 hours. What the heck happened? And
very smart to do that. Start it earlier, and then because if it's got to run long, you're not pushing into the 11 o'clock hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially for the East Coast. So,
and East Coast doesn't care after a certain point. Once 10 o'clock hits, they're done. They're like, all right, they're either going to watch local news or they're going to bed.
It's like football games go late. They're like, I'm going to bed. I'll catch it in the morning.
Right.
And the other thing I caught this week, Aaron on the other show told me that it was funny, so I watched it. Ricky Stenicki with John Cena, Zac Efron. That was funny. That was actually really, really funny. That's on
I
Amazon
saw him on
Prime.
Kelly Clarkson this week. I like John Cena. He's always been very nice to me, and just everything I've seen and heard about him, he's always been a nice guy. A lot of his movies really aren't that fantastic.
No, he had a funny puts himself out there.
I saw the clip online of him on the Barbie movie, which was fine.
Just the mermaid.
Yeah, it was totally fine. I loved him in Peacemaker. They just announced Peacemaker 2 is coming out after Superman.
Right.
When that comes out in like 2 years. So, and then he also did the voice for Peacemaker when he was in Mortal Kombat like a year or so ago.
That just released. Peacemaker just released on the new Mortal Kombat, like within the last couple of weeks. I just played with it the other night.
Okay. All right. I thought it was already out like a year ago. All right. So be it.
It's funny. It's worth watching. It's a good just comedy movie.
And go subscribe
Jeffrey
to his
Ross
OnlyFans.
plays a rabbi.
Yeah. Go subscribe to the OnlyFans. It's free.
Yeah.
So you can see all the content and stuff that they've been putting up there for it.
Yeah, they got some big names in it. William H. Macy's in it. He plays there's a funny bit where they were going through video footage of William H. Macy. He's like runs this thing about and he's always doing these movements when he's talking. So they're pointing out, it looks like you're sucking imaginary dicks and holding dick. Oh, there's the double dick. And then they're pointing it out, and like every footage is him doing stuff like this or like this. It's really funny. Like I was laughing a lot at that part. And he didn't notice he was doing it until they pointed it out. John Cena's character pointed it out, and he goes, why didn't anyone tell me? This is terrible. And it's just like 5 minutes of that. Are you writing down timestamps to put dicks in my hands, Eric?
Nope. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. I know you too well. But yeah, it's worth a watch. It's funny. And it's right on Amazon Prime. So it's like if you've already got the service, you don't have to go out of your way. Just take a look. It's funny.
Okay.
What are you watching, Eric, other than me making...
I'm on the last episode of Death and Other Details on Hulu, starring Mandy Patinkin and a very nice cast of other people on there who I apologize, I don't remember their names. But I've really been enjoying it.
Okay.
I'm on the 7th or the 8th episode, which I think is the last one. It's over on Hulu. If you're looking for some, it feels like I've talked about this before. It feels like it's in the same vein of the White Lotus shows that's on HBO, or the Knives Out franchise that's on Netflix. It feels something to do with there. It's like a murder mystery kind of thing, but then it unravels to become bigger than that.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil the rest of it, but I've been really enjoying it. It's been really good. And a lot of tasteful nudity in there, which I wish they would do more of. But because some of those, the actresses involved were quite stunning.
Mandy Patinkin.
But nonetheless.
So full.
Yeah, over on Hulu, go check out Death and Other Details. I said how I watched the Emma Stone fuck movie last week.
That cleaned up at the Oscars a lot more than I thought it would.
It did. I'm glad I got on board right at that time because I didn't know anything about it, watched it, and... one of the, I forgot which streaming service I saw it on has it.
Hulu.
Is it Hulu?
Hulu, because I saw it was that's why I made kind of fun of it because I said the Emma Stone fuck movie is now part of Disney Plus because my Hulu's hooked in and I can just, it's like, oh, look, there's Poor Things right next to DuckTales, the movie. I'm like, okay. So yeah, it's available on Hulu and all that. So.
Yes,
it's good.
So watch it there. There is another show that I just flagged on HBO Max to watch. It's called The Regime.
Okay.
Stars Kate Winslet.
I like her. She just seems to be popping up in all kinds of stuff.
I'm not 100% sure what it's all about, but it's a series that's available on HBO Max right now. Plus, I still got to watch Wonka. That's on my list.
Oh, yeah.
To watch. And there you go. All right. Here's what's out right now for you to, other than what we've already said. Disney Plus, Taylor Swift's The Eras concert movie tour is up there. In theaters right now, Love Lives Bleeding. I don't know what that is.
It's a kind of a lesbian weightlifter movie with
is this the Kristen Stewart? Okay,
yeah.
I saw something about that today. The American Society of Magical Negroes.
That's not even a joke title.
It's not.
It's a real title of a movie.
Yeah. So going to, I'll take 2 for the Society movie. Wait, Society movie? No. Which one are you talking about? If you were the guy at the ticket counter, you'd constantly be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Make them all say it.
No. I'm just going to go up and say, hey, I need a ticket for the Negro movie.
And you just go,
be like, sir, you're going to have to leave.
The Magical End movie.
Right. What's up, Mike? And then just...
My magical ends.
Yeah. That's a movie that looks like...
Hey, what's up, my...
Yeah.
That's a movie that I think like I would enjoy watching, but I feel... And I don't do this often where I feel like the double standard is heavily at play, where if we made a movie where, white guys are trying to, calm, African Americans down in a certain way and have magical powers like that, we would be being roasted for it. But in this, it's like, white people are always just uneasy around us, and that's why we got to keep them calm. I'm like, okay, all right. I'll watch it, but geez, come on. Anyway.
So that's what's out right now. Not much this week. Next week, a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Over on Disney Plus, we've get the finally the release of the It's not a recreation. I guess it's
a continuation.
A continuation of the X-Men animated series from the 90s. X-Men 97, as it's being dubbed now. 10 episodes. All is it weekly or all at the same time?
I don't know. Disney's been doing a lot of weekly. But I feel like this might be something that's all at the same time. I don't think they've specified.
All right. Well, there's 10 episodes for the show. It's coming out on March 20th, Disney Plus. On the 21st on Amazon Prime, we've been talking about this for a while, the remake of Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Get it and watch it while you can because it's in the midst of a lawsuit and we don't know if it's going to be pulled down because of all the things that Amazon Prime apparently screwed up with the movie. We'll see how the lawsuit goes.
It's getting pretty favorable reviews too. So.
And next Friday, I will be in attendance going to an early daytime screening of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait. There's been a whole to-do. I was thinking of going into the city tomorrow. There's a whole to-do. They redid the firehouse downtown Manhattan. It's now a big thing. They frosted up the entire thing, so it looks frozen. There's like ice spikes coming out the side. The Ghostbusters sign up there is also covered in ice. Ernie Hudson was there today, and I think
now is that still a working firehouse?
Oh yeah, the hook and ladder.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a working firehouse, and they had the whole thing laid out and ready, so you can go down there, take photos. Like I said, Ernie Hudson was there. I think some of the other celebs from the movie are supposed to be there this weekend for it. And then you have the premieres of the movie. Was the premiere this week already, or was it next week?
I think that it already passed, yeah.
Okay. So the other celebrities will be showing up in time for the actual worldwide theatrical release of the movie. On March 22nd in theater. I said that already. And then the following week, March 29th. I know a lot of people aren't really too keen on seeing this, especially after seeing the -1.
Right.
Godzilla X King. Stop with the X shit. It's Godzilla and King Kong, the new
branding.
empire. Again, March 29th in theaters.
The more I see this, the more I really don't care, but it's a dumb monster movie, so I'm gonna
go see it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Take a step backwards. We talked about X-Men 97 coming out on the 20th for Disney Plus. The creator was fired ahead of the premiere. What happened here?
So I guess the showrunner and executive producer behind the show, Bo DeMeo, he's fired as of March 20th. He's been fired ahead of the March 20th premiere. He completed work on seasons 1 and 2. So we're getting 2 seasons. His Instagram account has been previewing artwork and answering questions about the show. He has been heavily promoting this show. That's all deleted. He deleted all of that. And then he is no longer allowed to promote the show or be involved with any future seasons. He actually wrote and produced most of the episodes for these 2 seasons that are coming. They don't know why. Disney has not put out a press release. He has not spoken on it. He just has been fired and he's done. So I don't know. It was weird, especially considering the timing of it premiering this week.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm sure more will come out, but right now, he's been let go, which is very
Or we
odd.
may never hear from him again. Maybe it was all a lie. He did nothing. He had some AI program that built everything for him, and he just took the credit for it.
That's why Rogue's ass is much smaller.
We don't know. Reminder, because it's no longer the countdown 2, it's in effect now. That Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus are banning users from sharing their subscriptions with people outside of their household. It went into effect on March 14th. It's starting to happen now. So right now you're getting, if you're not in the home network, you're getting screens pop up that says you're not allowed or you can't access this content because it's not being accessed from their home network.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to start going forward with seeing various attempts of password sharing that will terminate your account.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just how they do things now.
And I believe Max will be following suit very soon.
All right. Let's stay with Disney and go to Marvel news stuff here. Agatha, House of Harkness, Agatha, the Coven of Chaos, Agatha, the Darkhold Diaries. What the show's just called Agatha.
Yeah, so they went through 3 separate names. Originally, when it was announced, it was Agatha House of Harkness. It's Agatha Harkness is the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, they changed it to Coven of Chaos because I think they were going to be bringing in other witches and other characters, so they kind of didn't want to just focus on her so much.
Right.
And then at some point, a couple months back, we noticed that it got switched to Agatha the Darkhold Diaries. Now, the Darkhold is the book that kind of made Wanda go crazy in the last Doctor Strange movie and stuff like that. And as far as we know, based off that, the Darkhold's been buried, it's gone. So I think maybe they're even going to switch that from being a main MacGuffin to just getting rid of it altogether. So they've just gone back and called it Agatha, just straight Agatha. So
okay.
It might be their effort to rebrand. It could also be a sign of a major change for the show's main character. It comes down to what type of role the MCU's Darkhold is going to play. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be... I think they're going to try to kind of write it out. But it depends on what happens. It may actually be switching her character arc. Whereas in WandaVision, she was kind of like the bad guy. She was kind of evil. You can tell that she was influenced by the Darkhold. In the comic books, she's actually traditionally more of a heroic character. She was part of the Fantastic Four lore and stuff like that. So you might see, because the Darkhold's gone, she's kind of switches how her character is, and they may bring her back for future MCU projects. So who knows? I enjoyed her. We've seen nothing on this, but I liked her character and I liked the actress Catherine Hahn. So.
I love Catherine Hahn. She's in a lot of great stuff. I enjoyed her role in WandaVision, and I would like to see more. WandaVision was 3 years ago.
It was the first MCU show on Disney Plus, and that came out. When did Disney Plus came out? 2020.
Yeah.
So, 2020, 2021,
2021,
so it's 3 years old
when it came out. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see they're moving forward with the character. I do enjoy the work. All the live-action Spider-Man movies are returning to theaters, which is kind of fun, and also showing you how terrible the theater-going experience has been for the movie industry, because they're bringing out popular favorites that they know people will go to the theaters to watch, instead of trying to make more interesting movies. So the entire Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is all going back into the theaters. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 movies, right? They were only 2?
Yeah, there were 2.
With Andrew Garfield going into the movies. And the 3 Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man movies going back to the theaters.
Right.
I enjoyed the Tom Holland ones and the Sam Raimi ones. I never saw either of the Andrew Garfield ones.
I didn't hate the first Andrew Garfield one. That's another Emma Stone movie.
Okay.
The second one was bad because Sony was so hell-bent on setting up a Sinister Six movie that they had to shoehorn stuff in. So you had your Electro, you still had your Lizard. At the end of that movie, randomly Paul Giamatti comes out as the Rhino. A huge, huge reveal in the trailer, and it was the last 3 seconds of the movie. And then it never took off. Like, no one cared. No one liked them.
Sony just cannot get their shit together when it comes to this
and I
stuff.
think that's why they're doing this. They're claiming it's for the Sony 100th anniversary of Columbia Pictures, but Madam Web did so poorly. They need this to go well. So they're going to stagger these movies out. Starting on April 15th, you're going to get the first Spider-Man movie. April 22nd, Spider-Man 2. 29th is 3. And then you get your Garfield movies on May 6th and then May 13th, respectively. Homecoming is the 20th of May. May 27th is Far From Home. And No Way Home ends it in June 3rd. So they're staggering them in the order they released. So you're going to get the first 3 Raimis. The third one you can skip, but the first 2 are great. In fact, I think the second Spider-Man movie of the Raimi run may be one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. Like, I like Tom Holland movies, but that was my favorite. So much that they had to bring that character back for the last Spider-Man movie. So,
well, depending what else is out around that time, there might be a couple of those movies I may go back into the theater and watch.
Yeah, I might go check it out. And I can't tell if they're going to go wide release or they're going to stick to like a Cinemark or things like that. So I'm going to look up and see if I can find out. Got a month to plan. So.
Also connecting to the Spider-Man universe, Venom 3 got a new title and a release date. It was supposed to be out in November of this year. They moved it up to it was only like 2 weeks that they moved it up. So it wasn't that big a deal, but they're moving to October 25th of this year. It's now called Venom: The Last Dance, which I'm kind of glad that they're ending it, because I'd like to see it done right. Sony's been the worst part of anything to do with Marvel They really have. I mean, I like the first two Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
But everything else they've touched has just been complete garbage, and they keep ruining everything. Just enough. Just give it to Disney and let it be done somewhat right.
Right.
In connection to everything else. Look, say what you want about the recent Marvel movies. They haven't been the best, but they still connect to everything.
Yeah, there's still some kind of narrative there.
Yeah, and they connect in ways that make sense. Now, the execution of individual movies may not be great, but still the bigger picture is it's still all tied together. Get it out of Sony's hands. There's no more Marvel stuff there, right?
No.
Okay.
Some DC stuff.
Go back to the DC stuff. Batman 2 release also moved. The movie, it's going to be the sequel to The Batman, which came out
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow, this is such a far push. The one starring Robert Pattinson is being moved a full year to October 2nd of 2026.
Right.
They're saying, it's because of it might be because of the strikes and whatever there. The movie must be that bad that they're trying to fix a bunch of shit. I don't even know if it's that bad.
I don't think they could write it. I think what happened was, the strikes happened. No one could write the movie. Everything got pushed. And now that they are just literally completely redoing the DC universe, I think what's happening is that they want to be able to get Superman out and let it breathe, get Peacemaker season 2 out, let it breathe, do all these things, and not bunch up all their properties and not get that superhero fatigue that everything seems to be happening. So I think it's a combination of strikes and just the redo of all the DC universe. So even though it's not even connected, because they're going to do their own Batman movie. It's, I think, Batman Brave and the Bold. And that's not even a Pattinson Batman. So they're still segmented, even though they're trying to fix it.
I initially thought I liked the Batman when I went to see it. Then as time went on and I got to think about it and I was reading things apart. And I see, and you go, how did they not know the photos were being taken across the street?
Sir, could it be for that window? No, shut up.
So fucking stupid.
Yeah. No, there are
I have no interest in seeing this. Like, it'll be something I watch at home, but I'm not going to the theater to see Batman 2. And I'm definitely not going to go see that second Joker movie, because the first one sucked ass to begin with.
Oh, my God.
Now this one's going to be a musical with Lady Gaga, because
everything I see from that movie makes me upset, and I don't want anything to do with it.
It looks like complete art show garbage. But alas.
Here we are.
Peacemaker season 2 will be set after the new Superman movie. So when Peacemaker season 1 ended, there was a somewhat cameo of the Justice League there.
So funny though.
Now when he comes back, it's going to be in the new DC world, and the old DC world will not exist.
Right.
So the new Superman movie that's being written and produced by James Gunn, and the new version of the DCU now it's called, instead of the, what was it, EU? DCEU?
Yeah, DCEU.
So, so now Peacemaker will finally come out after this new Superman movie launches. They wait too long on some of these things.
Well, and then James Gunn said, well, all that in season 1, not canon. So you'll get Peacemaker, and some of those threads of what we've set up in the first season will kind of continue.
But the intro with the dance was amazing.
He's going to do a different version of that from what I hear. Like, they're going to do that again in like another fun way. I love season 1. I didn't think I was going to like it. I wasn't too keen on his character from Suicide Squad. And then after watching one really episode of that show, it made me...
In the show. It was funny. Change. It was interesting.
Made me care about characters I didn't think I'd care about.
Eat peace, motherfucker. And then just shooting people for no reason. It's like, you can't just go around shooting people. Why can't I?
When his little buddy was in the prison talking to his dad and all the other white supremacists, and he goes off on him, I was laughing so hard. Oh, all right, it's so good.
That's coming out after Superman. Moving on, National Treasure 3 is most likely not happening. Good, because the television show was a complete abortion.
It was a terrible show.
It was awful. It was squeezing all this, and I'm not fighting against diversity, but you watch this thing, it is so forced. The dialogue, the the way the diversity was put into there, you're watching this and go, this doesn't make any sense and has nothing to do. Oh, all right. So they're going to break in. There's apparently a vault under Graceland where Elvis had a hidden record that led to a clue to something. That it was just bullshit. Even though like the Nicolas Cage movies were a bit far-fetched, but
I loved them.
You liked them. This television show was complete horseshit.
Yeah.
And now the third one looks like it's not going to happen. Was Nicolas Cage involved with it or no?
The third one or just
the
overall?
third one? Because he had nothing to do with the TV show. There was mentions of him, but never.
They had talked to him. There's always been rumors about it, just like there's rumors of him trying to get in with like a live action Spider-Man TV show. He did an interview, and when they asked about the development of National Treasure 3, he goes, "No, there is no National Treasure 3. See, you're the ones bringing these things up, and they go out and they eclipse everything else. No, there is no National Treasure 3. If you want to find treasure, don't look at Disney. It's just not there." So if there was any talks of National Treasure 3, he's clearly not involved because they're not coming to him about it. So
all right. So it ain't happening. Don't look for it. All episodes of the Fallout television series coming to Amazon Prime on April 11th. So you're getting everything all at once.
All at once, yeah.
Which is weird because Gen V I watched, which is the spin-off from The Boys. And even The Boys, those episodes were once a week. They weren't all out at the same time. Is this concerning for the Fallout series, why it's all coming out at once?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No one's consistent. Like Disney will sometimes put everything out, and then sometimes they feel like they want to do it weekly if they've got nothing else coming. I think, having all of it go to Amazon, they have a show called Upload that they've put out all of it. It's a good show. So I don't think this is going to be an indication of quality. I think they just know that it's going to be, everyone's going to talk about it, so they're just going to get it out there.
Okay.
So,
all right, fair enough. Moving on, Scream 7 is going to happen, and they lost their two main stars after one was fired for comments she was saying online, and then Jenna Ortega walked off saying that she didn't believe it was fair, so they said, okay, don't let the door hit you. Nev Campbell, who was supposed to be part of 6 and walked off because it was the money. They didn't pay her enough.
Yeah, they didn't
want
to pay her.
They didn't want to pay her, so she had nothing to do with it. Now they want to do 7, so they had to go and throw a ton of money at Nev Campbell because she's coming back as Sidney Prescott for the 7th movie.
Yep.
So it all worked out in her favor.
Yeah, she posted on her Instagram that she's coming back, and the original writer of the original Scream movie and the producer of some of the other ones, Kevin Williamson, is directing but not writing. So,
all right, Conan O'Brien is making a somewhat of a comeback to Max. Now we heard when he signed off his television show that he was going to keep doing shows like Conan Without Borders and other specials and what have you, and then nothing came of it. He was really into his podcast, and then licensed the podcast to SiriusXM for like $150 million. So he had that to focus on. Look, if I just made $150 million, maybe I wouldn't give a shit about doing sketch stuff anymore. But he's coming back with a new series or show, Conan O'Brien Must Go. The project, announced last year during Warner Brothers Discovery's Upfronts, has been given a premiere date of Thursday, April 18th on the Max. Conan announced the premiere of the show's 4 episodes at South by Southwest. During an on-stage conversation, there's what was that? What were you doing? Was that your phone?
Sorry. Yeah, my daughter. I'm trying to shut it up.
Tell her you're doing a show. She does not matter at this moment.
That's what I keep telling her.
All right.
Well, I tell her that no matter what, but
all right. But at least this time you
I have a reason.
Important. You kind of mean it. So it's narrated, which is weird. I don't know what the way it looked like he was traveling around the world, so it looked like Conan Without Borders.
So apparently it's inspired by his podcast spinoff, Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan, because he needs a friend where he talks and then he talks to people. So basically he chats with listeners from around the globe, and it follows him as he meets up with people in Norway, Thailand, Argentina, and Ireland.
All right, well, I'll give it a watch.
So me too.
I'll give it a watch. Super Mario Brothers 2, the movie, has been confirmed, and it is looking like it's going to come out April 3rd of 2026. The confirmation was made by Nintendo executive and the CEO from Illumination, with the sequel all set once again to bring together the talents of Nintendo, Universal, and Illumination to continue the adventures of Mario and Luigi. There's no hint of what the story is, though, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Wouldn't it be great if they did it like the video game, where all of a sudden he's in that dream world and there's a giant frog and all that nonsense?
I love that game.
I do too. It doesn't get the credit that it should, but
fun one.
There you go.
And then they could do the third movie, but they'll announce it during a redo of The Wizard. I love that third movie.
Or The Wiz.
I mean, that third game. Yeah.
What if it was debuted in the remake of The Wiz?
God.
That'd be hilarious.
With an all-white cast.
Yeah, it is. You know, the AI did it. Right. We need to get out of here. We've been on here too long. We need to do the promos, the plugs, all that fun stuff. And when we go to do that, Jordan, as always, our nation's eyes turn to you.
You can come check me out on my other show, I'll Watch It Later podcast, where we watch movies we should have seen a long time ago. We see what's out now. We watch TV shows. Check us out on YouTube on I'll Watch It Later podcast, Instagram at Watch Later Pod. If you want to come say hi to me, I'm at Jinxed Ronan on Instagram.
All right. Very well. Very well indeed. For me, it's Eric Nagel across the board on all the social medias. As for the show that you're watching and listening to on the iHeartRadio app, thank you very much for doing so. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, any of those places that you get your on-demand content, do us a kindness. Go over there right now. Leave us a positive review. It does help out the program, and we keep meaning to do the show. That we read all that stuff. Make a note. We got to put the reviews out there so we can thank some people. You guys have been doing a great job with that, so please continue to do so if you haven't already. And if you want to join us live each and every week, go over to our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel, all under It's Eric Nagel. You can hop in and be part of the program as we do it, and you can contribute or just sit there and lurk and send cute emojis like people seem to like to do. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
We're good.
Let's eat some food.
Yeah. We need to get out of here. I'm looking for the show closer. There it is. All right. Until the next time, everybody.
Be excellent to each other.
We'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel.
Some boys go to college, but we think they're all wussies, because they get all the knowledge, and we get all the...
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itsericnagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell two friends, so they can tell two friends, and they can tell two friends, they can tell two friends, they can tell two friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.